is this is like Discord's Rocket?
Yo, this is Damage Per Second Podcast. That's DPS Podcast, episode 235. We are back on a fine Thursday night, feeling all right. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Gaming Forte. I am his co-host, SloMoBackSlap.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, what do you mean?
Hey, look, man, we are equal partners here. What did you
I didn't know where this was going. I was just like, what do you mean? Okay, it makes sense after hearing you, but I had to like double take on it for a second.
This man, just starting stuff already. I got some words for you.
Sure.
You already heard some of them, but you're gonna hear some more of them too. By the way, because the DPS community, we have a certain thing called integrity.
Integrity. Oh my.
Integrity. And we need to make sure some things is happening. Anyway, we'll get to that later. How's it going, bro?
How you been? Going good. I'm going good. So I might be upgrading my GPU. Might be.
Don't you have a 4090?
I do.
Upgrading to what?
What is the only upgrade that there possibly could be? Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there's a reason for this.
There's no reason.
No, there's definitely a reason.
Remember, I wish Logic was here. Oh my God, the grief you gave me for upgrading my GPU, and you won't upgrade from a 49 to a 50. Okay, hold on. Let me chill for a second.
Wait, do you want me to tell you before you blow V8 and try to jump down my proverbial throat about this pause?
Sure.
So
go ahead.
No, so my brother, he has I believe, which one is it? It's the water cooled version of it. He has one.
Of which one?
The 5090. I forget which one he has.
Okay.
Whichever one, I forget what it is. He sent me a picture. I'm not sure what to pull up to see which one it is. But yeah, I was talking to him the other day and he was asking me how everything with the PC was. And I was like, oh, PC's good. Oh, there he is. I said, PC's good. And he was like, he said, yeah, you still got 4090, right? I said, yeah. And then he was like, so I got a 5090 over here that I'm not using. And, I was going to put it up on eBay and sell it. And he asked me if it was something that I would be interested in. And I was like, I ain't got no 5090 money.
To give?
I said, I ain't got no 5090 money. And he's like, I didn't ask you all that. I was like, so what are you? He's like,
he's just going to give it to you?
So he wants me to. He said I can if I sell my 4090. He actually asked me to take pictures of it so he could post it on his eBay account.
Mm-hmm.
He said sell. He said if you sell your 4090 and I keep whatever you get from it, you just pay for the shipping for the 5090 because it comes in a big old box. Because it's the water cooled one and it costs like $150 to ship it. He said just pay for the shipping and you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think I might have one. Not because I'm going out and spending money on one.
Okay. Some questions.
Yes.
Because we know your brother's rich, so we know he's good for it. He's right. But do you have a case? Is your case big enough to fit
we already went over that. The case is actually big enough.
Okay, that's the first question. Second question is
1,000-watt power supply too.
I already knew you had the PSU for it. My next question though is so you understand, you know about some of the issues the 5090 is having driver wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're fine with that, even though the 4090 drivers are
mature and great and work perfectly fine.
Yes,
but this is why I said could be. I'm still mulling over this.
Here's another thing: the whole 5000 series is no longer supporting PhysX. On PC.
Yeah, I know.
Which means, PC. Even though you have not joined me on the road to Borderlands, if you wanted to join me on the road to Borderlands with that 5090, you're going to have some issues. Because the Borderlands games on PC, I think the only one that doesn't is Borderlands 3. They all use PhysX. Borderlands 3 might actually use it too.
I think it does use PhysX.
So I saw a lot of people complaining. People with 5000 series cars complaining about trying to play Borderlands without PhysX and how it essentially, like, your PC is compensating with your CPU. You got a good CPU, but it's still a bit like the performance hit is for having such an expensive rig. The performance that you're getting from that game is ain't acceptable. So I'm just saying, look, that is a bit different because you're basically being given, you're not paying anything.
No. I literally just be giving up my 4090 for a 5090, basically.
Right. He's going to sell your 4090 and you're going to get a 5090 water cool. Which is going to be even more performant. I mean, I would, depending on the games, if it wasn't these driver issues and the fact that the NVIDIA were clowns for not supporting all the games that even their 4,000 and 3,000 on down series cards are supporting, that's the only thing that would give me pause.
Here, it's the ROG Astro 5090. The ROG
one. Okay. I mean, look, yeah, I mean, I would probably do it. And now that, I got the full story, I would probably do it. Yeah.
You were about to roast me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was about to you about to spend $2,500 plus, and for what? And yeah, you know what? Shout out to Gregor in the chat saying SloMo acting like Forte going to use it to play games. That's a good,
he's right.
I jump on.
He's right.
Before I get on you for that, we have to talk about our special guest here. Not really a guest because he's been here probably top 3 number of times out of any guest that we've had. But the homie Eric Jackson is here. What's up, Eric?
Oh, I'm chilling, man. Thank you for having me. And always appreciate it, man. Always appreciate it. I kind of feel, it feels weird, like, coming on, because it's like, I've been out of the Twitter community for so long. It's like, how it is, like, when you're not around, it's like, it's like you're a ghost appearing or something like that,
Yeah, and I try to keep up on Blue Sky because it's like you, Ramon Terrell. There's a number of peeps that I'm cool with that, like, aren't on X, Twitter / Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
And so I I'm not on Blue Sky as much because it's less going on Blue Sky, and so it's like
Right.
I have to actively tell myself to check it, because if I don't, I would just go like, and then for some reason notifications are weird on my phone. I don't when people send me messages like DMs on Blue Sky, I don't get them. So I have to actually like go in and actually make sure, like, let's say, Larry, I don't check it for news stuff because like it seems like everything news related still goes to Twitter first. But like I check in there because I'm like, did anyone send me anything? Because sometimes Ramon will send me a message and I don't get back to him like 2-3 days later, and then I feel bad. But
right. No, and see, I get that too. Like, because I know, like, I'm not even. It's like I'm on Blue Sky, but my social media thing in general is not. I just kind of made like a conscious effort. Like, I don't to not really even want to deal with it that much in general. So Blue Sky kind of just fits like where I'm at right now. Like, because I'll say this, like, I miss people on Twitter, but I don't miss Twitter. If that makes sense.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I understand completely.
Yeah, and if I miss anything from Twitter versus being like on Blue Sky, I think I would probably be actually more active on Blue Sky daily if the gaming news was aggregated the same way. Like, that is one thing that I do miss. Like, I felt like I was getting more of the gaming news I wanted to get easier, like through Twitter, just based on the way that people are there. You know, the devs, the news outlets, everything like that. I mean, they're on Blue Sky, but it doesn't aggregate the same way. Like, you have to actively kind of go looking for things more so than. And I know there's groups and there's interests and all that stuff, but it just algorithmically, it's not there for that. That's not how they built it, so to speak. You know that.
Yeah.
So that part I miss, like, just kind of having that one hit of, hey, here's the gaming kind of news for the day. Here it is, and I'm good. But the other parts of it, it was just too much. And plus, just like, you go to look at something and then you look at the replies and it's like all porn bots. It's all,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man.
You can't even see the replies on anything or people that you interact with, because it's like weird. So yeah, that aspect of it, I really don't miss. I don't feel like I'm missing.
You can't even open the app around your kids. You just all kinds of inappropriateness just popping up and jiggling all in your face. It's just like, what is happening?
Jiggling.
But you know, Eric, I'm glad you're here. You wanna know why I'm glad you're here? Because I get to actually discuss with someone who plays games what they've been playing.
Forte, you're not playing games, man?
I didn't play a game this week. I haven't done anything this week. This week has been one of those weeks where you know how you get when and this actually means a lot, because guess what? You know what came out this week, Eric? College Football 26 came out. It came out today, but you could have played it 2 days ago. I haven't even played that. I haven't even picked it up yet. I didn't even feel like going up to my store to go grab it today because I just didn't want to leave my house. So I'll just get it tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow. I'm just going through that phase, like, where there's just a whole bunch of other stuff I just wanted to do, and I just have not turned on a console. Matter of fact, do you know this is the first time I sat down at my PC in since Sunday? Haven't been on my PC at all this week. I've been.
It happens, man. It happens. Like, I've had like my ebbs and flows. Like, I know we'll get into what we've been playing and stuff, and I may sound a little closer to you in some cases, but I feel like I slow burn on games right now because I just kind of put all my focus into it, and it's in being busy, I got just different things going on and stuff like that. So I get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those weeks where I was just sitting there and like, man, and I think mostly just because nothing was really like piquing my interest. Like I said, the Ghost of Yotei that we're gonna talk about today was like the first time I think it's like, oh, okay. I have to procure and get my PlayStation back from my friend because I don't have it right now because I let them borrow it. So I'm gonna have to definitely get it back for that. But it's just like when you just sit there and you're just looking around, and I'm like, there is legit nothing to play. Like I played my Switch for like the first 2 weeks it was out. I beat Bravely Default on it, and I haven't. Matter of fact, I haven't played in about a week and a half on that. Like I take it. It's been in my backpack and stuff. I just haven't played it. So it's just like, it's just nothing. It's like, I'm starting to kind of see what a lot of other people are talking about when it comes to like, you know, other things and stuff. And for the most part, the main reason I didn't pick up college yet is because I'm looking at, like, I started watching other people play it and then looked at some of the reviews and stuff of it. And I'm like, this is literally the same game, just with a different roster.
Oh, it's EA. It's EA.
I was like,
that's what EA is gonna do, man. They're gonna make the Jello mold, and then every week it's gonna be orange Jello.
Right, and granted, it's a better version of the game. I'm never gonna say, because I do think there's some really cool things that I saw, but I'm looking at like some of the animations and stuff, and I'm sitting there like, bro, that is the same animation from last year.
Remember when it launched last year? People were like, oh, okay, this is lit. It's back. It's dope. How fast will EA start to do the Maddification of college football? Right.
Yeah. It didn't take that long.
I fell off of it last year, and I'll tell you why. Because I come from the times where all I really want to do, I don't, you know, like I just want to play my season. I don't really do like too much online competitive, right? You guys know I'm not the biggest multiplayer.
Right.
Back in the day, all I do, go through my seasons, create my player, go through my season. I create different players for different scenarios, different things like that, right? And I just didn't. I was like, yo, this is absolutely built for a, as a game as a service type thing. Why can't I just go in and create a player, put them on the team squad that I want to be in, cocaine, rock through a season and keep it moving? You can't do it. Right? Why? Like, why is that kind of that feature set taken out of it? And I was like,
because
I can't do it.
They have very limited time. They essentially have like a 9-month development cycle every year, and some things get left by the wayside because they look at, like, their statistics tell them what do players play the most. And we gotta make sure that this stuff the people play the most is the stuff that works. And so
that's the world we're in now. Yeah, back with it.
And so if they can't get to it, then it ain't enough time. We gotta ship. We gotta have it out before the football season start.
So you would think that's one of the most simplest things to do is like create a player, add them to your roster, keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
But now they've monetized that. Now it's a whole thing around it. Create your player, then create his background, create his personality, his likes and interests. Sit him up front in the press conference and have him say really terrible lines that don't make any sense.
Have him meet Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, right. Like, no one cares, bro. Can I just make my character, make him 99 and have him be a beast? Like,
exactly.
You can't even do that. Now you gotta build them up. It's just like, everybody try to do all that. I mean, like,
you remember back in the day on Madden, SloMo, and Forte, you like literally just take all the players from like whatever NFL team, put them on one team, and it would be like the God Squad.
Yeah.
Your salary cap would just be ridiculously stupid. You got Terrell Owens, Priest Holmes. You got everybody
Michael
over
Vick is
squad,
your quarterback. Just doing the most. You're beating every team 100, the 3. But they don't allow you to do stuff like that no more. They just because all that was free.
Now it's park. You gotta, in the 2K, you gotta be at the park and do all this other stuff. Like, Forte, I'm sitting there like, okay, so you can like create a player and take him through like I guess what do they call it? Like, it's like their form of career, right? So you go to class.
Oh yeah.
You like
Road to Glory.
All the nonsense stuff. You put all this effort in. Yeah, the road to glory. It's like you're not even playing the game. You're literally just simulating.
Basically.
Like I'm like, why? Who's doing this? But like SloMo said, somewhere along the line, they saw the data points that said this is what people want to do.
Yep.
They don't want to do this in the real. They want to sit here.
People who spend the money are spending ridiculous amounts of money in Ultimate Team. So everything that we're going to focus on and make sure it's working correctly is Ultimate Team. Everything else is, if we have the available bandwidth and within that 9-month period, we'll add that stuff too. Otherwise, it's gonna get cut. But you know, it's I know we had a nice little tangent here. Let me. You know, the DPS community has to call Forte to the carpet.
Oh God.
Oh, Forte said something. I don't want to cut you off. Forte said something that I want to touch on because I do find this very interesting. Forte said there's legit nothing to play. I never run into that problem.
He ain't beat Expedition 33 yet. Ain't nothing to play.
But you know, I would see people on Twitter say, "Man, it's dry out here," and I'm like, I'm drowning. I always feel like I'm behind the 8 ball when it comes to like something to play. Like I feel like I can always find something. So I'm just curious, like how does that equate? Like when you say there's like nothing to play, there's literally nothing.
No, and that's a good question because I think it's different for every person. I think it's more of, it's not that it's nothing to play, it's a lot to play. That's not the thing. It's just, for me, it's not that urge to like, you know, like when I feel like there's something that I have to play, I'm at work thinking about it and can't wait till I get home.
You do have something that you have.
No. That's no. That is literally torture. That's what that is.
Well, you said you were going to do it.
I am going to do it. I just didn't do it yet.
At the time.
Yeah.
For context for everyone that's listening.
At the time, I said I was going to play Death Stranding.
Let me break it down. So Forte is on the Iron Lords podcast. He's on IOP, and I agree with Forte with this aspect that King, shout out to King. I love the brother, but he was capping. He got himself a degree in capology. He's a certified capologist for this, because that man played 4 hours of Death Stranding 1 and said and started talking like he saw God, he saw Jesus, changed his life.
I'm glad you touched on this. I'm glad you're touching on this. I'm glad you're touching on this because I was listening to ILP too, and not just ILP. I've listened to other pods. What is this all of a sudden this, and it's particularly coming from the Xbox side. I'm not here to pick on Xbox dude. This is not an Xbox dude thing. But I'm noticing all of a sudden Death Stranding has like these eyes on it, like it's like it just dropped.
I don't get it. I don't know.
It's been on Xbox
I don't get it either.
for a long time, and for a lot of dudes, they would always say, like when you would call them to the mat on Twitter, like when they were talking, you know, doing the console war thing, you say, well, why you doing that? If you're a gamer, you just, I buy everything. I have all the platforms. I don't miss out on nothing. Okay, so you have a PlayStation. You could have played Death Stranding a long time ago. Well, I want the achievement. Okay, that's fine. It's been on Xbox for about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on? Why all of a sudden now I'm seeing all these dudes?
This is what I think is going on, is that Death Stranding 2 came out, and people want to play that, but they don't want to go in like not understanding what the heck is going on. So now they want to go play Death Stranding 1. And so then now they may have, you know, in the past never played the game and
understandable
and gave it all the slander in the world, and then now they're playing it, and now some of them are like, oh, so this is actually better than I thought it was.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. That's where the cat part of it comes, because it's like I remember I actually remember one time being on IOP and having Fonz going back and forth with me in the chat about Death Stranding because he didn't like the game and he was trying to convince me that it wasn't great and this and that. I'm like, yo, I think the game is brilliant. I think the game is doing something way different than a lot of other games do, right? And now we've had
stupid.
We've had our debates on this. That's not a Kojima. That's not a Kojima cap. But along with all of a sudden people discovering Death Stranding, I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing Kojima appreciation, where before I was seeing Kojima slander, Jeff Keighley slander. Oh, they're lovers, they're this and that. Death Stranding is a walking sim. That looks like straight trash and boo-boo and garbage and this and that. But all of a sudden, the narrative changed. Now you stood 10 toes down from the jump on Kojima, going too full Kojima. I get that. You've always said that.
Yeah,
I respect
that. Never go full
Kojima, right?
And Death Stranding 1 is full Kojima. Death Stranding 2,
but that's what I liked about it.
Somebody
it was doing something different.
Got the Kojima and said, "Hey, bro, Hideo, sit down for a second.
Hideo,
you need to rein some of this in, buddy."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like people don't want to sit and watch a movie for 3 hours before they get to play the game. So how about we actually play the game a little bit sooner? What do you think? What do you think? You know, look, I've put about as much hours into Death Stranding 2 as I did Death Stranding 1. Already can tell it's a better game. And I will finish Death Stranding 2 because it's a better game. I
haven't started yet. I got that lined up next.
Is it on the level of an Expedition 33? No, not at all.
It's gonna be hard to top that. It's gonna be hard for me. It's gonna be hard to top that Claire
The only people so far that I've heard say it's better than Expedition 33, they got Kojima tramp stamps. So I'm not trusting them.
So you trying to say Gene Park got a tramp stamp?
Absolutely. Shout out to Gene Park in the Washington Post, but he got a tramp stamp of Kojima. You know, right between his L4, L5. Okay, so look, to get back to Forte, because this is about Forte.
Well, hey, slow. Gene has a love-hate thing going on with like Claire. Like he loves the game, but he hates like the people he feels glazes.
Yeah, which is
so it's like
I see this all the time. You know, like there's plenty of people in the community who's doing this. They think, oh, it's getting too much praise. I must start hating it. You know, it's weird.
I gotta turn the tables now.
Yeah, you know, but then they just saying things that just don't make any sense. But it's fine. Forte, I was fine with Forte's pushback on King, and I knew it was going to happen. Forte ain't played the game. Okay. So and here in the DPS community, us sharpshooters, we don't talk badly about games that we don't play.
I didn't talk bad about the game.
Oh,
I never talked bad about the game. I just said what did they show you when they announced that game? What got you excited about that first game? And it was never. And I even said the same thing about Death Stranding 2.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me say it like this.
Go ahead.
You called what King was saying cap, and I agreed, but you said it because you don't believe the game is as good as he says he is.
No. No. I do. That is not it. I just said I don't believe that you can see the face of God after playing the game for 4 hours. Like I used a whole bunch of no.
You know what I say about that too is like I'm completely down because I've done it. Like sometimes you might play a game, it just didn't hit at that moment, and you come back to it like I don't know what I was bugging on. This game is pretty whatever. That happens. That does happen.
Yeah, but it don't happen in the first 3 hours of playing it.
And to be fair, like SloMo said, it takes about that time to really get rolling in Death Stranding, you know.
That's what I even brought that up during the podcast. I was like, bro, that game takes 9-10 hours just to get rolling in it. So how did you see anything in the first 4?
But he's not alone. As I said, I've been trying to understand.
Listen,
like,
man, that's all.
All of a sudden, like SloMo said, it might be because it'd be a Death Stranding 2 thing, but I'm like, this game has been out for a while.
No, I literally
PC,
on the podcast
asked
him. I was like, King, I was like, and I told everybody, I was like, dog, this is only happening because Death Stranding 2 is here. I said if there was no Death Stranding 2 and we didn't have a topic about this, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. You wouldn't be playing Death Stranding 1 if there was no Death Stranding 2.
Can I finish my summary? I'm trying to get to the summary of what happened, and y'all keep interrupting to talk about something. Right. This is what happened.
We're going to fall back.
After a lot of hilarious arguing between King and Forte, Forte said, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play it tomorrow. I'm going to stream it. That's what he said. Then he doubled down on it. He said, I'm going to beat the game before King beats the game.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I was spitting that
Eric,
day. I am frauding now. You're right. You were
gaming Forte right now.
Yeah, Eric, I was frauding when I said that. You're right. Now I have to do
it. He did not stream the game. He ain't even booted the game up. When I talked to him a week later, I was like, "Yo, so when you gonna play the game? Because you're not now. It's like it's not just you here, man. It's on DPS reputation now. Now It's like this is serious, right? So then I'm like, like, so when you gonna play the game? And then he like, oh yeah, man, like, you know, so what happened is my boy got my PS5, and that's the one, that the version of the game I got. And I'm just like, bro, like, the game is old as dirt. You can get it on Green Man Gaming for, like, you know, with the cost of a Big Mac. What are we doing here? Buy the game on PC. Showed him the link, $13. He buys the game. Okay, so I'm thinking, finally, he gonna play the game. Talk to him again. He ain't play the game. So now he on ILP and King calling him Zero Man. Look here, it's Zero Man. Because he got 0 hours. Because he got 0 hours of the game. It's hilarious. Yeah. But I'm over there, teeth just grinding. Because it's not just Forte on the line. It's DPS on the line. And I'm just sitting here like, you know, this don't sound very sharpshooterish. This don't sound very DPS's right now.
All right.
You got to play the game. Right. I don't care what's going on. I don't care how you feel.
He said you just
turn on OBS, stream the game, do what you said at the very least. At this point, you're not going to beat the game before he beats it. Right. But at least play the game so the next time you show up on ILP, it's not here's Zero Man again. It is I played the game and you capping. Thank you.
What happens if he's not capping after I play the game?
Well, then he's not. Then at least you would have played the game and you would know, and you would have did what you said.
Hey man,
but so far.
I'm installing this game right now, man. Good God.
So you say Forte is in no position to question King's.
I can. I still question the eye, the sun, the moon, the sun god coming out of the sky 4 hours in. I'm still questioning that. Greatest game ever played in my life, Mass Effect 2. I still didn't consider that game the greatest game in my life until I was about 15 hours in.
Right. Oh, a quick
it was good.
Arcade 4247 said Death Stranding dropped on Xbox November 24th. Yeah, I said a couple years ago, but you're right. It was like a year ago. But you gotta forgive me. In this dark timeline we live in, 2 months feels like 2 years.
It is a dark time.
Anything can happen now. Now we got Gears dropping on PS5 the same day that Helldivers 2 is dropping on Xbox. We are not in the main timeline. If this was the MCU, we not in the canon, you know, which is Earth 665, I think, or 656 or whatever it's called. It says somewhere in the 600. This is the prime Earth. We in like Earth 944 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like we definitely on the off timeline. Yeah, it's just
Biff has officially stolen the almanac at this point.
The almanac.
So I'm gonna talk about what I've been playing. 616. Thank you, Miko. I knew it was 6 something. I don't know why I couldn't remember it. I'm getting old, y'all. But I've been playing games. Okay, I've been playing games. I've still been playing. As you see on the screen, I've been playing more Cyberpunk. I figured out how to 100% the game. I think there's a bug in the PC version of it where achievements seem to only, maybe it's just me, but achievements only seem to pop on my main, like my first character. For all the other characters I've made, which is a lot, achievements are not popping. So I'm using my first character now, and I'm trying to get all that done. So that's for this year that, you know, I've been playing through that. I've been playing Fortnite Battle Royale Blitz, which is freaking awesome. And I think a lot of the Fortnite players are starting to see that because there's more people playing Battle Royale Blitz than regular Battle Royale and Battle Royale Zero Build. Like, both of those don't have the same number of players as Blitz does right now. It's great. What else here? Borderlands 1. So I streamed that on Twitch. I'll upload my edited version of that on DPS and the SloMoBackSlap channel in a few days. I actually should have uploaded the lunchtime with slow-mo I did, but I guess I'll do that for tomorrow. But I am near the end of the game now, and I'm going to do that, finish the game, and I'm going to do the General Knox DLC before going over to the pre-sequel. And I also tried out, and I'll show this right now, there's a new looter shooter. It's just on Steam that I played today called Mycopunk. It's in early access. It's got some potential, but it's definitely an early access game. Like it's got some bugs. It's got some design issues, but the gunplay is decent and the abilities are, I can see where they're going with it. It's just $15, so it didn't really cost like a lot of money. So it was all right. You know, I played it for a little while, maybe like an hour or two, and I'll keep playing it. But I kind of want. It's not going to be like a priority or anything. I'm more of see the potential, and I kind of want to see where the devs take it from here. And I'll get back to Death Stranding too. Got some feedback on the first stream I did. I was asked to keep streaming it, so I'm gonna keep playing that game, and then I'm also gonna start The Last of Us Part 2 in chronological mode. Now that they got that out,
we can talk
about. Yeah, that's also a topic for later. So yeah, that's what I've been playing, man. Eric, I know we kind of got off track. What have you been playing?
I've been kind of like nursing like Clear Obscure, like I'm somewhere in between. I've been playing games, like dabbling, not really, like haven't really finished anything majorly, but I've been spending a lot of time in Clear Obscure. Like I'm like one trophy away from the plat at this point, so I'm finally gonna try to get that done so I can kind of move on to some other stuff. I just been busy, man. I got like
so you're one trophy away.
I'll talk to you guys behind the scenes. Huh?
Are you on New Game Plus?
No. I'm still on the regular.
So technically, you got 2 trophies, because there's 2 trophies that you can't get until you get into the final mission.
Which way? Which one is that?
It is one of them is one of the expedition journal entries is in the final mission area, and one of the songs.
I popped both of those last night.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's some a little bit of confusion about some of that from what I've been seeing in like some YouTube comments and stuff like that. Because I did think I got locked out of getting all the albums, because there is that one cutscene if you don't check in after like Act 2, I think it is. If you don't check in with the group, you miss a cutscene with Mael. And I found out that one doesn't actually count toward the final count on the albums. So as far as I'm looking at my thing now, I gotta reach level 99, and then I will have all the trophies. But I got all the journals last night.
I wonder if they did an update or something that allowed.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did patch it.
Yeah, because when I had to Google it, because I was looking for both. I was just like, yo, where is? There was like, I had one missing. I think it was Expedition 60. It was the only one I had missing, and I was in New Game Plus at that point, because I had beat the game and didn't really care about like 100%ing it until later on. I was in New Game Plus, but then like when I didn't realize that like some things reset. Like when you do New Game Plus, you keep your levels, you keep your weapons, you keep your Luminous and your Pictos in those levels. But what you don't keep are the journals and the music. They're the 2 things that you don't keep. And so I'm like, crap, I gotta do all that over again. And then
that's all some people heated, so maybe they did. Yeah.
So you beat Simon.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cheap bastard. I beat him though.
He is a cheap bastard.
Cheap bastard, dude. But
I do not care about one-shotting him. He deserves it.
At all. Everybody I know got that Maya God mode going. Mm-hmm. And even with that, something, I don't know, again, I think with the patching, you know what happened with me, like I had her where she would give him the one shot, right? So first phase, gone, knocked out, right? Second phase, I would hit him. Sometimes it would take like once or twice, but then he'd go into his canvas clear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Once he gets down to like 30% health,
Yeah.
he just wipes the entire party out, and you gotta rely on your back line. Which I haven't played it in a little while, but on PC, and I'm not gonna say how many times I've 100% this game on other platforms. We're just gonna say, just don't worry about it, right? But on PC, I'm on like New Game Plus 5. And so I've beaten him like 4 times. Half those times were like, just so happened I may have done, because he gets even more health every time you go up another New Game Plus. And so now, like the last time I beat him, I had to rely on Lune and Minoko on my back line in order to beat him, because
Minoko when they came through clutch for me, took him out.
Yeah, I guess just so happened like the damage I did to him wasn't enough, and I did like 76 million damage, and now his health is like somewhere like 85 or 90 million. So it's just like, oh crap. So they like, once I got him that low, he just wiped everybody out, and I had to rely. I needed Lune's elemental genesis, and then I hit him with the tier 3. I forgot what they call it with the the one where she rocks you out. Yeah. So like that, those two really got it. And Minoka has a pretty good. I have all of, that's part of the trophies too, is getting all of his abilities. So I
you put Lune and Minako together, man, you can do some work.
Oh yeah, that's why I have my team. My main team is CL buffing and debuffing the enemy, and especially buffing Mael using. I basically use, of course, her best weapon, but then it's not just Steinhall that I use with her. I also use Sword Ballet, the Gamage attack, and there's one more. The one that's like an AoE attack. It hits all enemies. I can't remember the name of it, but
I think it's blurry something.
No, I think something strike. It's something strike. I can't remember the name, but whatever. I use that, and then I have
strike.
I have a build set up with Verso where I'm basically like I'm just using the ranged attack with him for the most part, and then I follow up with a melee. But the more critical hits I get and the more marks I do, the more turns I get. So I can, a lot of times for most enemies, even bosses, like Verso is all I need. I just start doing that ranged attack and they're dead. So yeah, but it's Expedition 33 is great. It's not just the story; it's the actual gameplay is freaking awesome. But my bad, man.
It falls in line with. No, I'm saying it falls in line with those. You get I think sometimes you get like a few in a generation if you're lucky. That when you come out of the gen, you're like, you'll still think fondly back on it. However many years later or whatever, or just comes along. And I know, like you said, there's people that glaze, and there's also people that are in the mode of picking it apart. And not, I'm just like, look, this game hit at the right time. It had the right things. Yes, it's borrowing elements from all these different games, but sometimes you can borrow elements but make it your own, and you put together something that's, And I think finally on Lies of P the same way. I'm like, I'm sorry, I know there's dudes who give FromSoft the same thing that people used to give Bethesda. Now it's like the FromSoft charm, where they see no wrong, they do no wrong. That engine is whatever, right? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I feel like when Lies of P came on, I think they out from in a lot of ways. They put some things down that
alone in that. I mean, I haven't played much of Lies of P. I tend on getting back to it. It just never did. But you're not the first person I've heard say that about Lies of P compared to other FromSoft games.
Yeah,
so,
you don't have to have this true storytelling.
A minority opinion.
Yeah. So no, I'm with you on that, man. Like Claire is just that special game. It's just a game that hits all the marks. So you can talk about how many playthroughs you got, new game pluses, Simon being a dickhead, all of it. We talked about that before, you know. So I'm gonna try to wrap that up.
Dickhead.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try to wrap that up. I want to start jumping on some other stuff. You know, I got Death Stranding 2 lined up. I still haven't played Doom, so I definitely want to check that out.
Doom's fun.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think, like, after spending so much time with Claire, if I should play some like palate cleansers before I jump into something as like dense as Death Stranding 2, because I know that's another time consuming game, you know.
Yeah,
so
sometimes typically I want something short to kind of like
exactly.
something like a 15 hour experience. I normally jump in one of those. After Expedition 33, I jumped into this indie strategy RPG called Dark Deity 2, which turned out to be far longer than I thought it was going to be. I probably should have checked the time to beat on it, but it's really good though, and I'm still playing that, even though I haven't put any time in it since I was on vacation. It's a very easy game to run, and so I was running it on my Steam Deck OLED, and I was playing that while I was on vacation, but I haven't played it since I got back, so I do need to get back to that, but. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead and continue, bro.
No, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, it's just enjoying my time. I didn't feel the need to like try to rush. I know people were saying that they were finishing Claire in like 30 hours, where I'm like, man, I'm like at 100 at this point.
Oh, they rushing. Those people rush through the game, barely understand the story, don't know the additional context of things, don't even know what the white Nevrons were talking about.
Right.
They never found who their mistress was. You know, I'm not going to say who that is for those who haven't finished it. But those are also some of the same people who are saying things like Avowed is better than Expedition 33, just like pure insanity. Not saying Avowed's a bad game. It's not. It's a good game. It's not even in the same area code as Expedition, but.
I saw that take. I haven't played Avowed, but I saw that take and I thought, oh, that's interesting, because I haven't heard anybody really overhyping Avowed. I mean, I know there's people who like it, but I know there's people who have mixed feelings on it as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that. I didn't really see Avowed hit the zeitgeist the same way like Claire Obscure did. And I know it's a platform.
It's a good game. But it's a good game, but it's flawed.
I started it just to kind of take a look at it, but I didn't get deep into it either.
Yeah. Well, you guys ready to get into these rapid fire topics, man? I think it's been a while since you've been here, but we do a little thing now called rapid fire topics. Try to like hit some of the other topics that are going on during the week that we ain't gonna spend that much time on, but we're gonna talk about it for a few moments and then kind of get into our main things. But Forte, are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
All right. So. Rapid fire topic number 1.
Oh, really?
Real quick, Eric, do you know what that clip is from?
Absolutely, bro. That's quick.
Yeah.
You made me shoot my boy in the back of the
head. Don't shoot that little ish no more. I thought about. I was like, I need to get some gunshots to separate the rapid fire topics. And the first thing that popped in my head was good old Harlem Nights. A great movie. If you haven't seen Harlem Nights, you need to see it. It's all freaking awesome.
Yes, sir.
A correction from last week. We talked about the studio closures and game cancellations that were going on with Xbox and Microsoft gaming in general. And one thing that was being reported at the time of the podcast that now has since been corrected is that Romero Games has not closed. John Romero's studio that was making a game that was being published by ZeniMax Media, and of course through Xbox and Microsoft through ZeniMax Media. They had their funding pulled. And people were incorrectly reporting that the studio was subsequently being closed down due to the funding being pulled. Seems that was a bit premature. Romero Games came out with a statement saying that the studio has not been closed, even though the studio had never even been officially announced because the game hadn't been announced yet. But they are currently fielding offers, multiple offers on future funding for the game from other publishers. So that is something that is on the horizon, may potentially be, you know, something to save the studio and the game they were working on. So, Eric, what are your thoughts on that, Eric?
I think that's a good thing, man. You know, I never want to see like a studio have to shut down. I'm glad that was retracted and corrected. Maybe that's one of those things where it was like people love reporting negativity as fast as they can and love piling it on.
Yeah, a
little
interesting editing, you know, a little extra.
Yeah.
Extra narrative, you know, added to it, and the studio closed
down,
man. Like, hey, bro,
man,
where'd you get that
part
from?
They just went all in, destroying everything, man. They just salting the earth, everything. So no, that's good, man. That's good. So I like to see, you know, looking forward to seeing what they're going to be putting together. Because again, we could always use more studios. I'm not saying more games. There's always too many games, I think, but definitely a good thing, you know, for a studio to be able to continue on and hopefully come out with a good product, you know, that hits the zeitgeist, you know. But you know, again, that's also symptomatic of nobody's held accountable for things anymore. Because there used to be a time where if you came out with some report that was off, then your credibility was done. But we don't live in that world anymore.
Yeah, there's almost never any. We see bad reporting and then see that be amplified, and then there is a correction. Afterwards, but like a quarter of the people see the correction instead of the inaccurate information that was put out first. So,
and then some people want to continue believing the false report. You know,
right, exactly. So that like when they show off their game, if they are able to show off the game, could very well have to close the studio anyway. But you know, it's not being closed right now, so that the reporting is still inaccurate. But if they actually were able to secure new funding and release it or show off their game, there will be people like, wait a minute, I thought this studio was shut down. Is this the same game? Is this a different studio? Like, it's just, this is how misinformation gets spread. And it's just, it's the way media is nowadays. Forte, what are your thoughts on this, man?
It ain't nothing new, man. We already knew. Listen, I don't even know why we even thought this would be any different. But, you know, the thing is, if they just get information out there, show off the game and stuff, then stuff like this would just kind of disappear. But you know, when there's like a whole bunch of stuff happening in the background and you just got all these different articles being written about things, the narrative runs itself. You know, a lot of that could just be shut down by just showcasing, but you know, funding and stuff like that becomes a big part of it. And when all that is when that's up in the air, it's like, well, what do you really do? Is it really in trouble? Is it the fact that, you know, they just don't have anything to show now? It kind of just comes back to a point where we're in an age of gaming where instant gratification, if it's not met, is something wrong. It's just like there's no in between with it anymore. It's like if you haven't shown off your game, and granted, there's a lot of good reasons for that, because you know, we talked about it last week with, you know, the initiative being closed and stuff like that, or being shut down. It's like when you don't hear anything, it's like something's wrong. And in a lot of cases it is. And and in this it may not be, but it's the fact that when you're not, you know, really showing anything, or when everything's zero dark 30 and everybody has their own devices and their own way of thinking about things, people want to have opinions and they want to, you know, have talking points, and this is kind of where we get to this point. So it can all be alleviated by just coming out and telling people what's going on, but you know, that's not how it's been working in gaming as of like pretty much the last half decade almost.
My big issue here is, where did the information start that Romero Games was shutting down?
Right.
Because you clearly didn't go to Romero Games for that information.
Right.
So I understand there's a lot of people in games media who have sources. And you know, look, there are people who aren't in games media who are just content creators that have sources. Like, this is the way things are. But there's a certain amount of something called journalistic integrity that needs to happen. And how I'm not even a journalist, but I've listened to journalists talk. And when they talk about verifying certain information and making sure things either go directly to the source, or you actually have people who leak you information, you go to more than one person to verify what's being said. And if you're not doing that before you go half-cocked out here telling a story about something that don't quite know for certain, that's damaging, because when you start things like that really affects, like, what if, I don't know how big Romero Games is, but let's say it's a team of 50. What if these 50 developers here at the studio are shut down? And it's not. So, of course, they didn't get like a actual meeting telling them that we're shutting the studio down. This is people going to have to start thinking about, okay, what am I going to do now? Do I have to move? I need to find a different job. Can we handle that? We got like a baby on the way. We got medical benefits to terror. Like there's a lot that goes in there. And when you say a studio is shutting down, you're basically meaning people have lost their jobs. So I know layoffs have been ridiculous the past couple years, but just because Microsoft seems to not give a damn about who they lay off doesn't mean you, journalists, should also not give a damn about who gets laid off and being very blasé-faire about reporting this kind of stuff.
Right.
AKA, do better. Just do better.
Instead of trying to be first, be right. Because sometimes it's better to be right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I got to get out there before Tom Henderson does.
Good old Tom Henderson.
Right. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we move on to the next one?
Nope.
Sounds good.
Oh, really? Whatever you think, Captain.
Oh, really? According to the games industry analyst Chris Zukowski, Valve has cultivated a community of users on Steam that buy games but don't actually play them. A bunch of gaming fortes is what he's talking about. Let's discuss it.
Wow.
There's a bunch of SloMoBackSlaps too.
I play my game, sir.
Oh no! Go ahead. We'll talk about this. Okay. Let's go. We'll talk about this.
Okay. Look, I will group myself into this too.
Okay. I just want to make sure we all on the same page here.
That I haven't played, but there's a reason for it sometimes. For example, the Steam sale is going on right now, right? And so I saw Star Wars Battlefront 2 was like $4 in the Steam sale. I'm like, that's $4. Let's do it. Bought the game, I installed it. I decided to boot it up earlier today. Unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. I forgot that at that time period, EA seemed to just, not even really put any time or effort into PC ports. The gameplay's awful. The DX12 version of it is unplayable. It's broken. And it doesn't have real controller support. Like, what are we doing here? So, game uninstall. I'm pretty sure that that's like definitely probably some mods out there on like Nexus mods or whatever else where you can get the game in a playable state. I don't care that much to do so. So, yeah, I get it. We all buy games, but it's just I just found it interesting that on other platforms they're struggling to get people to buy games. Meanwhile, Steam is over here and have found a way to get people to buy games, and they don't even play them. The article in question, the guy Chris, the game analyst, says that for games that have demos, so there's a free demo to play the game before it comes out. The majority of the games on Steam that have a demo are wish listed without playing the demo. I don't get it. That don't make any sense to me. Now that part, if I see there's a demo for a game that I'm about to wish list, I'll go ahead and play the demo before I wish list it. That's just me. I don't get other people just hitting wish lists and did they even see that it was a demo available? I mean, usually it's right there above the pre-order or add the cart button. So weird to me. Forte, what are your thoughts about, the Steam gamers just buying games and not playing them?
Man, it took this long for them to realize, to make an article about this. Listen, man, when I bought my PC, the first thing I did was to take advantage of the very first Steam sale and buy a bunch of games that I finally knew I would never play because they were on sale. You ever heard of a humble bundle? You know how humble bundles work.
Lord,
you know how they work. You spend a certain amount of money and you get everything in the bundle. You know how Steve would do
at least
publisher sales, publisher bundles.
Humble bundle goes to charity. So that's good.
No, it does. It did go to charity, but guess what? You were spending like $3 for like 30 games. And guess what? Remember those publisher bundles they would do? I remember because I bought the THQ one before they met their demise before anybody knew they were in trouble. So I got all the Darksiders games when they were still published by THQ. You know what? Another one. Remember when 2K did theirs? I got all the BioShock games that way too, even though I already had BioShock Infinite. But that's how I got BioShock 1. That's how I got BioShock 2.
But it's a mandate. It's a mandate to have all BioShock.
Yeah, it's like at this point, if you don't have every BioShock, it's like if you don't have all the there are a couple of games that are on Steam that it is criminal if you don't own them, and the BioShock franchise is one of them, and the Left 4 Dead franchise is the other one. If you ain't got Left 4 Dead on your PC on as much as they gave that game away, something going on here. So. Yeah, this was funny when I saw you post this in our chat. I was like, "Are you serious? This is like 20 years too late. They didn't know this already." I was like, people are just buying games. We actually talked about this probably a few years ago. I was like, "Dang, SloMo, how many games have you purchased that you have no intentions in playing?"
No, I have intentions.
No, we all have intentions in playing them. We all have intentions in playing.
I look at them from time to time.
From time to time.
And then I don't play them. Yeah.
And then you don't play them.
It's just good to know they're there.
You know what? Hold on. Let me. I'm looking at my. Let me look at my Steam list. I'm looking at. Okay, I got Age of Chivalry. Age of Chivalry. I looked at it. Hasn't even been installed. It doesn't even have a date on it saying it's ever been installed. Alien Breed. Remember the Alien Breed games?
I know you're not about to go through your list.
No. I'm not gonna go through the whole. I'm not gonna go because I have a lot of games. It's well over 2,000 games on this Steam list. But I'm just looking like Alien Breed. I had now the Anno games, the CD building games. I did play all those. Those are actually really, really cool. Like Assetto Corsa. Why do I have Assetto Corsa? I've never played a version of Assetto Corsa.
Isn't that a simulation racer?
It is a simulation racer, SloMo.
It was $2, Forte.
I know.
I got it. I mean,
it was in
that
some.
Price, I'm stealing from you.
No, listen. It was in some crazy bundle that
Right.
It was in some crazy bundle that you just like. It was lumped in with some other game that you wanted, and you was like, I might as well buy it in this bundle. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm just looking at this list. Like, okay, now this is sacrilege because the Batman games are worth having. I have every last one of the Batman games on my PC. I haven't played one of them on my. Well, I take that back. I did play Arkham City on my PC, but I've never played any of the other ones. But I own all of them because I think I bought them during then there was a Batman Arkham bundle that came with all of them. But I've never played only one on my PC. Same thing with Borderlands. Borderlands 2 is the only reason I own all the Borderlands on my PC because when they did pre-sequel, they did a bundle. 2K did a bundle that gave you Borderlands pre-sequel.
Bro, they
Borderlands
come out
2.
with a Borderland collection bundle every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
And and most recently now they just discount, you know, the pricing. And for example, I bought all of them on Steam like 2 years ago, and I only had to spend maybe like $30 some because I already owned a good number of them already. And so it was just basically just getting all the other games that I hadn't got yet. Like
right.
The new Tales from the Borderlands, which is awful, and stuff like that.
But
so.
you know the funny thing is, and this is the last one I'm going to mention, and this is probably the one PC game that everybody, and it's 2 games, well, it's 3 games actually, but this is probably the one that everybody bought just because, and they didn't buy it in the collection, they just bought it. Crysis. Everybody bought that game. Everybody bought.
I know
Crysis.
everybody buys Crysis. I don't know anybody that's ever played and beat Crysis.
Don't listen. Nobody beat Crysis. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody's beat it.
Seen
but
actual gameplay of Crysis. I've never seen actual gameplay of Crysis. I just see people's like benchmarks of it and saying, hey, my PC can run it. But
your PC for Crysis.
I have never seen it.
Dog, they didn't even have to give that game away because everybody was buying it.
Yeah.
And it's great. So yeah, that's the reason. But there is a lot, like, and that's a game that people played, but they just didn't beat. I actually beat the first Crysis and the second one. I never beat the third one. But yeah, it's just really interesting seeing that be a topic of conversation. It just lets you know how dead it is out here for media, where they just got to come up with a topic that everybody knows. I was like, come on, bro. You could say the same thing about Epic. How many people are just logging into their Epic account every 2 to 3 days just to get the free game that they'll never play?
and they never buy anything on the store. Epic just
dog, I haven't bought a game on the Epic store.
Yeah, but you're not Steam, so buy.
Yeah, you're not Steam. It's like, you know.
But Eric, you know, you have a Steam Deck now, right?
Yep.
So what's your Steam Deck? What's your Steam library looking like?
Being that I don't have a gaming PC, right? But I had a Steam account. I probably had total like 5 games on my Steam account, right? So I did the same thing. I got the Steam Deck. I have about 125 games on it now.
Okay.
So it's a thing. It definitely happens. So it's like a rite of passage almost. It's like, well, I'm here now, and they make it real easy and real cheap. So I gotta have, you know, for 80 cents, Circus Poodles. I gotta buy that, right?
Circus Poodles.
I just realized what he just said. Circus Poodles.
And for $1.50 more, I can get the soundtrack with it. I gotta do that.
You know? Hey, guess what? I have a bunch of I got a code for every Valve game that ever releases that Gabe gave us like 7 years ago when I was at conference, bro. Wow. And do you know how many of those Valve games I've actually booted up?
Half-Life 2 for free a few months ago.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. No,
and I grabbed it.
It's like if you have if you have a Steam account, then you have every Valve game at this point.
Right.
And if you don't, you just weren't paying attention.
Basically. Yeah.
But no, that's the thing you do. So that's why I was just like Forte. I saw that and I was like, how is this a news story? This is what I've always heard, you know, PC gamers saying since the dawn of Twitter or whatever. They'd be like, man, I just buy games. Yeah, I was like,
my Steam account.
I got 2,000 games in here. I'm never gonna touch them, but they're here. You know, it's just
library busted at the seams.
Right.
Games I'll never play. Alien Breed. I forgot what that game was. I was like, how did I end up with? Who made this game? What collection did this come from? Because I definitely didn't buy it separately. Who made Alien Breed? I don't even know. Does it say?
I don't even know what that is.
Alien Breed. What? Who makes this?
Nobody.
Mostly positive review though.
That's probably why you bought it.
Team 17 Digital. Who in the world is that?
Anyway, yeah, I do agree with Game Logic in the chat. He says that you're right, Forte. This article has been written multiple times, and he thinks it's likely was written again. But when I read it, it looked like AI wrote it too, so it was even less of a actual effort. But Matt Piscatella of Circana has been reporting that 30% of console gamers won't buy a single game this year on Xbox or PlayStation, and that players spend 40% of their time in black hole games like Fortnite, which is on the screen right now. So that's probably why that article came up. But we can move on to the next rapid fire topic if you guys are ready.
That was wild.
All right.
Really? Oh, really?
Solo Leveling.
Yes, sir.
The anime of the year last year. You know, I love saying that because it really pisses off the anime weirdos that want to talk about like the wholesome slice of life anime that's so boring it puts you to sleep. It really should have been anime of the year.
They don't want to talk about Bleachy Bleach.
Shout out to Cognito.
Cog Lee?
Cog is he's going to do them Zach squats though, anyway.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Cog.
That was a great suggestion, SloMo. We dang near passed out when you made it.
Solo Leveling is getting yet another game. The game I got on the Jumbotron right now is Solo Leveling Arise, which is it's a mobile game essentially. It was out on mobile last year, just came to PC. I don't like it. I mean, it's okay, but it's like it plays like a mobile game, which means it's just not very in depth. It seems very basic to me. I'm not a fan of it. I played the demo. I'm glad there was a demo to play because I'm not going to engage with it any further than that. But now there is another solo leveling game coming out that's called Solo Leveling Karma, and this one is actually going to be an isometric view Diablo kind of action RPG. And they showed a few gameplay clips. I thought that looked pretty interesting. Eric, what are your thoughts on? But first, are you an anime fan? You into Solo Leveling? What are you familiar?
I've heard about Solo Leveling. I have not watched it. I'm not a religious anime watcher. As far as anime shows, I have my classics that I've obviously your
Akira, Fist of the North Star, Studio Ghibli. I don't even really consider that anime per se. That's art house type stuff. But Samurai Champloo, all the Toonami stuff, all the Toonami jams, all that stuff. But I try to dabble in some of the newer things or whatever. But no, I'm not. And it's not that I have anything against it. It's just a lot. Sometimes it's just picking and choosing your battles. Sometimes I feel like I barely have time to game, and then there's other shows out and stuff like that. So it's and some of the anime is it's a time commitment. Especially if you came into it late. Trying to catch up on it all. I mean, they're not as bad as Dragon Ball Z, where it's just an entire episode of Goku and whatever villain just staring, and leveling up and powering up and looking like they're constipated, and then the background characters is Goku's about to go Super Saiyan, Super Duper Ultra Saiyan 4.
I still listen.
Oh my
listen,
God.
I still every time I watch those episodes, I always come back to when he's charging the spirit bomb for 9 episodes, and they say, "Is he gonna? Is Yama gonna do this? Or is Vegeta gonna exact his revenge? Come back next week for Dragon Ball Z."
The entire Dragon Ball Z series is essentially this: Goku's dead or training somewhere, and he has abandoned his child that Piccolo is raising. And there's some villain that the rest of them have to deal with. They basically are diversions waiting for Goku to show up and actually fight this guy. And the only mystery is which one of them will die before Goku shows up. That's essentially it. And a lot of these animes, and I do have to somewhat agree with Cognito about like the more, you know, more modern anime. Solo Leveling's better. I like Solo Leveling. But some of these other ones that people be championing, it's the same. Like Baki, I can't stand Baki. Baki's freaking awful. I know there's some people that are probably like heads are just exploded right now. I'm sorry, the show's trash. They all follow the same format. You got two guys fighting, and then one guy pulls out his super move, and he has to give you the full-on exposition of the move and this history, how he came up with it. Well, when I was a kid, you know, I couldn't swim, and so I didn't like my father threw me in the water and let me drown, and then the moment I was about to drown is when I figured out this ultra move that I need to be in water to do, and just so happened we're in water right now, so I'm going to do it. And it's just like, aha, I created this one power, this one ability that will counter this one move. And it's just like, what the heck are we doing? This is so stupid. And so, long story short, a lot of these animes are trash, but Solo Leveling's good. And so, yeah, so that's why there's like multiple games coming out on it. But to Eric, even though you're not that familiar with the series, might be something you want to check out. To watch is the second season. It's got 2 seasons. The first season's fire. The second season's even better. But
so it's a newer one. It's not like already arrived. It just arrived in the States, but it's already you know.
It's actually a Korean manga. They call them manguas.
Yeah,
it's Korean. But the anime, just like the second season came out last year. It's fairly newish, so it's pretty good.
Check it out.
That said, them having a Diablo style kind of game, does that appeal to you? You think something you might want to check out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna check out the anime, and I definitely have more to say about it in those regards. But that style game doesn't surprise me. Those seem to be Diablo style, what they call them, 3/4 view like games. They seem to fit those types of scenarios. That easier to kind of produce, easier to kind of, you know, for people to jump in and out of. So yeah, why not? If it's a good game, I would definitely check it out.
Cool. Forte, you going to jump on Solo Leveling?
I don't know. I just started watching the show. I haven't really looked that much into the game. What they all the thing about you said what?
How far are you in the show?
I think I'm close to the end of the first season.
So you're about to really get it. I mean, it's.
Oh, I already know. Listen, Addict spoiled me a long time ago. Addict spoiled me a long time ago because he started showing me stuff towards the beginning of the season 2, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go start watching. I started watching it like a week ago, so yeah, it's kind of crazy. But you know, the biggest thing with the games and stuff is like the translation over to it, and sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. I like what I see from this. It just really comes down to actually just breaking down that barrier and jumping in and actually doing, because it's not like a genre I'm super invested into where I just like, oh my God, I watch every anime and it makes me want to kind of play the game. With me being somebody just getting into it, I haven't crossed over to like wanted to like, you know, enjoy it in different medias yet. But I can't lie, what I seen of what they're doing looks really, really cool, really, really interesting. I just guess it comes down to like how much more the show really, really captures and stuff like that, to see exactly where that's going to go. But it's definitely a game that's on the radar, though. I just don't know if it's going to be something I'm going to play like right away or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been saying ever since like I started, like shout out to Luca. Luca's the one.
She indoctrinated you.
Yeah, they both were like really like dogging on me to watch the anime, and then I watched the first season, got addicted, started reading the manga, read the entire series. That's complete. They now have a Solo Leveling Ragnarok series that's going on right now. I've read some of that, but I haven't. It's not completed. I might just wait till it's finished and then read it all once it's completed. But I'm a massive fan now, so. Yeah, I would, and ever since becoming a fan, I've been like, we need some games for this. You know, I see all these other trash anime fighting game adaptations that suck, And I'm like, I don't want one that sucks, but I'm just like, how come all these other animes got some kind of adaptation in video games and this one doesn't? So it's good to see, you know, of course, the first one, like, Arise isn't horrible. It's just, to me, it's a bit boring, a bit basic, and it's made for a mobile game. Now, that said, Karma is also going to iOS, so it is going to be playable on mobile, but it's in that kind of Diablo style. So like that is a game design that can work on mobile, but also isn't like being hindered by the platform. So I feel like this could be something that could really be good. So hopefully it is, you know.
Right.
Aramius says thoughts on Be Hero X. To Be Hero X. Yo, Rodimus, I need to set a reminder to watch that. I've watched like half of the first episode, and then I never got a chance to go back to it. And every time Rodimus brings it up, I'm like, crap, I have not watched that yet. So I'm gonna get back to it. I'll let you know. I'll make sure I watch more of it by next week. Promise. That's a promise. Anything else on this before we move on to the next topic?
Nope.
Cool.
I get y'all K-pop demon hunters on, man.
Yep.
Isn't that a TV show on Netflix or something?
No, it's a movie. Sony Pictures produced. Yo, it's
that's
fire,
on
dude.
Netflix.
I was watching with my daughter. She watched it like 8 times now. Like, I'm not even bullshit.
Wow.
Like,
is it good?
fire soundtrack. I'm not even a K-pop dude. I'm like, just banger. These bangers, man. What they doing? No, it's actually really good. It's actually really good. There's a reason it's number like I think it's still number 1 on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I may have. I'm surprised my daughter had. Maybe she's probably already watched it. She probably already has, but I'll check in.
Completely new IP. I think I can't remember the lady's name who wrote it, but yeah, Sony produced it. Good shit, good stuff. Can't knock it.
All right. Next rapid fire topic.
Really? Oh, really?
Naughty Dog has finally done what I asked. And what I've been asking ever since 2019 when that game came out, The Last of Us Part 2, is that you have the game in chronological order. It makes more sense. There's more drama to it. Characters that end up dead. You didn't showing those characters later on with all this love triangle crap that no one cares about because you already know the conclusion of it. You know, I feel somewhat spoiled that now they did this now, didn't have this mode available at launch. They're doing it years later, but finally it's here. And I'm going to replay the game finally with chronological order enabled because I feel like it's just going to be a better game like that. And I wanted to talk about it because I've been said they should have did this. And I wonder what the actual like conversations are going to be, what the discussions are going to be with people once they play it this way and if they feel like it's better. Eric, you played through this game, right?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this? I know we've had this discussion multiple times. So what are your thoughts on them actually doing the mode, this chronological mode? And do you think they did this because they saw what I said and said, "Damn, he's right"?
if they saw what you said, and said, "Damn, he's right." Why did it take them this long to do it? Because I agreed with you when you said it, man. I said, me, I didn't have a problem with the game, the way the game played and the way it laid out, but I kind of felt the same way. I was like, I wonder how this would kind of play out if you could literally play it. Like, what was there really a need to Pulp Fiction this thing? Like the way they, kind of the way they went about it.
I don't think the writing is good enough to be a Pulp Fiction version of it. Like this like Pulp Fiction worked. Right. I think this game is somewhat polarizing. And a lot of people still feel like the story of the first game is better than the second. I will say this though, and I'm curious about this. I wonder what you think. I haven't started it yet. I will, but I wonder when they say chronological mode, is that also taking into account the cutscenes, the flashbacks? So are those going to be in chronological order as well, or just the current like day timeline. Like when you get to Seattle, is it going to be, I know because they kind of showed it, that it'll be day 1 Ellie, day 1 Abby, then day 2 Ellie, then day 2 Abby, the way I said they should have did that. But I didn't have a problem with them adding in the flashbacks where they did. I had no issue with that. But I wonder if when they say chronological order, is it literally going to be us looking at Joel and Ellie and then the deterioration of their relationship, and then seeing Abby and then all the stuff going on with Abby, with, you know, the other guy and all the other stuff going on in Seattle and her wanting revenge for what Joel did? Are we going to see all that then lead up to, like, if that's the case, probably Joel doesn't die in the first 2-3 hours of the game, but instead like halfway through the game? How do you think they're implementing this?
I have to imagine, if I'm going to take a stab and a guess at it, that it would be like kind of what you just said. Like they're literally going to do a chronological order and how the events play out. So so it's going to be like a reshuffling. Like some of those events, like you said, with Joel and everything, will happen later, which, you know, could literally change the dynamic of how people felt about that. Because again, I didn't have a problem with what happened to Joel, you know, or as far as a storytelling thing and that happening, because not that I didn't have a connection to Joel, I didn't like him as a character, but I'm like, in this world, it's the last of it. It's the survival of the fittest, and Joel has done the same thing, if not worse, to other people, right? So karma's a bitch. Things can come back and get you, and that's a very bold thing to do, to take this character and do this. So I wonder if they indeed go this path, how will that feel, seeing that kind of play out later? Even though you know it's coming, it may still be more impactful, you know?
Right. So would you say, okay, because this is my thoughts on it, because this is a very brutal world, and him dying, I would have been more upset if he didn't die. I feel like he needed to die. It's for the sake of the story and the kind of story that you're telling. Like there shouldn't be any real plot armor here for anybody. Everybody can get it. That's how brutal this world is.
He shouldn't have got it that way, though.
Right. I didn't like the setup for it, because to me it reminded me of, like, say the last season of Game of Thrones versus the prior 6 seasons before the HBO producers took over without a story to follow, where the characters were written in a way where essentially the characters were telling the story that George R.R. Martin wanted to tell, and not, he created the character, and then he put that character in situations where anything that he wrote for that character was what that character would do based upon the very layered, you know, aspects of that character's personality. And then what we got in the HBO show in the last season was they had an outline of how the show was supposed to end, and they didn't really quite understand these characters the way George wrote them, and they were very, very out of character. Like Tyrion Lannister went from being the smartest man in the room to just having that dumb look on his face every time something bad happened. Like he just didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do because they didn't know what to do with him. And there were certain things that happened where certain characters were doing things that didn't make sense based upon what we saw from them for 6 seasons, because they just needed
like Dany just basically going full Targaryen.
Yeah, and there was supposed to be a build up to that. There was none, and so it's just like this is all about basically pushing the plot to a point where you need things to happen, and they needed Joel to die in order to fuel Ellie's revenge, and so they basically wrote Joel in a way where he forgets who he is. He forgets everything that he stood for, how cautious he was around new people. He forgets all of that in order to get killed. And it's just like, I get someone may have a bad day, and maybe it may slip.
You don't slip like that, though.
You don't slip like that. Like, come on, bro. Like, you don't know these people, and you just fully trusting, like, to go. It was very out of character for him in order for them to set him up. I just would have preferred that he died a different way. I would have preferred, and the way I thought the TV show was going to do, where I thought Abby was going at one point going to infiltrate the community that they live in, and then find a way to kill him that way. That would have been great. You know, that I think that would have been better. Like if they would have like attacked the community, found him, you know, he died some way like that. Or they snatched him up from there and then took him and, you know, tortured him to death, whatever, right? But it's just him being the cause of his own death outside of simply his actions prior, you know, years prior. Just it never really quite sat well with me.
Right.
Forte, any thoughts on this, man?
No, I think it was I mean, the biggest thing I think everybody's really focusing on is the fact that they're just making more and more stuff for a game that they just keep re-releasing. That's what everybody's been talking about. It's like I hear people.
This is free though. This is a free.
No, it is
update.
free, but that's
It
the
don't
thing
cost you
though.
no money.
It's like they're using. It's like that's the conversation. It's like everybody's kind of dismissing this for the most part because it's a game that they re-released like 4 times, and it's like and a lot of the conversation is around like you couldn't have done this on the 2nd or 3rd iteration of the game. Like you had to re-release it 4 times in order to get to this point. But I think it's a great move. It should have happened a long time ago. I just think it's kind of sad that a lot of people are like celebrating the fact that it's in chronological order and we're going to have a mode in the game that's going to do it, which is wild when you think about it. It's like that has always been the biggest, like not even hurdle, but just like one of the biggest, you know, what stays against the game and stuff is just like it's just the pacing of it, and a lot of the pacing of the game is because of the order that it's in and the way that you go about playing it and all of the backtracking you feel like you're doing and everything. So I think I don't even think I know this is a great huge decision, but it just like it seems like, especially after the news of Neil Druckmann leaving the TV show to focus and write on, you know, the next Naughty Dog game, Intergalactic. And I'm sitting there like, when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, you're just starting? So it's like in my eyes, it's like the studio has to do something to get more people interested in the games that's already out there. So it's like they have a small team, which I don't fault them for because this is what you're supposed to do. They have a small team that's outside of the intergalactic team that's focusing on things for content, especially now that they don't have that team that's or supposedly had that team that was working on, you know, factions or anything. Who knows what they're really doing right now? But they can allocate a lot of those resources to like making The Last of Us a better experience by adding this mode into it. So I give them points and credit for doing it. It's just real funny and real interesting to see that, you know, a lot of people are like either super like jaded because it's a game that's released 4 times and you finally did this, or the fact that it's kind of the writings on the wall about how long we have to wait for their next game, so they have to find a way to like entice people to go back and play their old game, or just to buy that game to like kind of, you know, kind of help not fund the studio because PlayStation does that, but like kind of make the studio still feel like it's doing something by releasing something that has, you know, the Naughty Dog name on it. So, but I think it's a good decision. I'm definitely going to play it. And you know, when I saw my daughter saw this, because you know she beat both Last of Us Part 1 and 2, and she saw this and she was like, this would have been nice 3 months ago when I started playing Last of Us.
Yeah, I wonder if this was meant to come out when the TV show was out, but they didn't have enough time. And in that case, I mean, it may feel like a missed opportunity, but I do feel like when the first season dropped, they dropped within weeks, whether it was before or after The Last of Us Part 1 on PC, which was a complete disaster. It was not ready. And I think they may have learned that rushing it to release in order to be timed up with other media just was not a good decision, not a smart decision. And then this time they decided, okay, we're just not going to do that. It'll come out when it's ready, which turned out to be after the season ended.
Right. And now that, and since we're talking about that, what are your guys' thoughts on Neil Druckmann leaving the show to start the process of help writing the story on Intergalactic when...
Well, I didn't know if it was... I don't think they haven't wrote anything on Intergalactic.
Well, I think they wrote stuff, but that's why I said where he's going to help. Like when you when I read his post about him going, to focus more on the next game, Intergalactic, that Naughty Dog was working on, I didn't get the idea that they hadn't been doing that, because I think that's always been a thing. But I think the wording he used really made it seem like, dude, they need help and I need to go help them. The way that he worded the contraction of going to actually work at, Naughty Dog to help them do that.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I got more the impression that it was like they're starting to now get to the point where the groundwork for the game was laid and he has to get back and focus on it. I mean, this could go 100 different ways. It could just also be a thing where it's like this second season wasn't that well received, and it's like he's reliving his nightmare again.
Time to get up out of here.
All right, we did it, and because I haven't seen the second season yet, but from what I understand, like the episode that he directed was one of the ones people like the most.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah,
that was the flashback one, wasn't it?
Yes, with Joel.
Oh yeah, you could definitely. It definitely was
the best episode.
It was definitely the best episode. I actually liked the whole the season, but that was the best one.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting.
I've seen some people saying that Craig Mazin is the one that's still like writing it with someone else, and some people like I never watched any of the whole inside the production kind of commentary after post show.
Yeah, I watched every last one of them.
Yeah, I saw some people saying that things that Craig mentioned, a lot of the things that they changed in the second season from the original content of the game were like his ideas, and so a lot of the stuff that people were not happy about really are Craig's stuff, and so some people are very pessimistic on how the third season will play out. That said, I mean, like, Neil's got to own just some of the issues that people have with the game itself. So, I think it's not. There isn't a black and white. Oh, this is a move that's going to help the show or hurt the show. I think there are aspects of it that can do both. But when it comes to him and Intergalactic, like I saw that he decided to cast I forgot the young black lady's name, who it was in. She was in the Netflix show You, and she played Nora in the Last of Us TV show. So it was through her role as Nora that Neil had the idea to cast her for Intergalactic. So I guess you can kind of also thank you, Miko, Tati Gabriel. She's a very good actress, and I think because Neil got the idea to cast her for Intergalactic from there, I mean, the writing side of things could still have been done. You can write for a character and not necessarily have an idea of who that is going to portray that character in motion matching and mocap and doing the voice lines. But that kind of can let you know where they are with game development, because if they hadn't cast her until after they were filming this show, which she's not on it for very long, so she could have immediately went from, you know, the show into the work on the game. But that kind of lets you know where they are with the game, you know, where they're not that far along. And it may not be because of the writing, it's just because they they just got the actress, you know, a year ago, and they need to get her into doing the work in their mocap studios, where Sony has very expensive and high quality stuff for that. So it may take some time for the game to get out.
Yep.
Anything else? Anything else we got?
Nope. I
On this
am
one?
here.
All right, so let's talk into this this last rapid fire topic.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yo, we need to really have a discussion here about this Xbox PC app, because I know you guys have heard about World War II on PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty World War II.
Yep.
So the version of everything that is Call of Duty pre Modern Warfare 2019 is a hacked, buggy mess. And they have the audacity to release World War II on PC and not patch it, which has resulted in them taking the game down off the PC store, because people's PCs were getting hacked by playing the game and being in the lobby with other people who chose to do that in multiplayer. And so that's yet again another example of how the Xbox PC app has issues that need to get resolved. And you know, these are kind of some of the things that, like, when they're talking about backwards compatibility, oh, your library goes with you, these kind of things, when this is some of the pushback that those of us who are a little bit more aware of what some older PC games are actually like, and when they talk about bringing your entire library with you, what does that really mean, and how is that really going to work? Probably not as well as they're claiming it is. So and that's in addition to an interview that, even though I don't particularly care for this guy's content, but Moore's Law is Dead did an interview where he said that one of his episodes where he said that he had spoken with people at Xbox in regards to games being released on the Xbox Ally, and those games they are coming up with like dev kits for those games, and they are not, because they're just like, hey, look, it's a PC, bro. We're not doing dev kits for it, which is, you know, I think that approach is somewhat different than what Valve is doing with Steam, where they're making sure that, well, not making sure, but they're attempting to make sure that games that come out on Steam have a Steam Deck compatibility version, or at least tell you how compatible those games are on Steam Deck. I think that's something that they definitely need to pay a bit more attention to. That said, World War II, hacked. Forte, your thoughts?
Listen, it's always been a situation where a lot of the games that get uploaded to the Microsoft Store are just outdated for the most part. They're not, there's a reason that when, a lot of people buy their games on Steam, when they come out, and it's because of stuff like that, stability issues, just overall gameplay bugs, and it just doesn't seem like Microsoft themselves really puts a lot of effort into making sure that works. Now we know that they do put effort into it, but it doesn't really show any it just doesn't show any progress. Like for myself, I play the majority of the Xbox games through the Xbox app or through the Microsoft Store because I refuse to pay for a game that I have a subscription for that I can play that way. And if it doesn't work, unless it's a game that if it's a game I really, really want to play, I just buy it on Steam. But if it's a game that I just want to, it's in Game Pass or something like that, and it's a game that I'm interested in, I'm not going out of my way to pay for it because it should work in the service like it's intended to work and stuff like that. And I know that they've been putting effort to try to get that to work better, but it's just at this point it's nauseating to see situations like this pop up, and especially when you are being considered one of the biggest publishers out there now. It's kind of your duty to like kind of make sure that things like this not only work in your ecosystem but work in other people's ecosystems too. And it seems like they do a better job of, or at least their partners in that make these games for them do a better job of supporting other platforms than their platform themselves. And that doesn't show a lot of confidence in the consumer when it comes to your products and stuff in general. So, it's just going to make people want to buy their games, on Steam instead of buying them in their own marketplace, because ultimately it's like no matter where that game is on PC, it should act the same. It shouldn't be any deviations in what people experience from game to game, depending on the platform they're playing on. And that's definitely been the case when it comes to Xbox and just Microsoft in general, and the way the storefront has been over the course of its inception at this point. So super sad to see from a almost $4 trillion company, but they only get away with what we let them get away with, unfortunately.
Very true. Eric, you are primarily a console gamer, right? The next Xbox is looking to be very much like this Xbox Ally, which is essentially it's a PC. And the next Xbox looks like it's going to be like a small form factor kind of PC that it looks and appears and hopefully runs like a console. But considering that it is a PC, it's going to, when it comes to your library and the games that you've already purchased within the Xbox ecosystem, you're not going to be playing the console versions of those games, but the PC versions. When you see things like this, how does that make you feel about the next Xbox in the future?
This might sound funny when I say this, but I'm like, when do we get to the point when we stop calling these things Xbox? From what an Xbox was supposed to be. I mean,
oh, man.
Because Xbox, for all intents and purposes, is sounding more and more like it's becoming like Steam, right? Or at least kind of making that attempt. And that's not like a knock or anything, but it's like it's pretty much Xbox in name alone, not really what Xbox was at one point. It's turning into something else. So this is actually when they like announced like this Ally or whatever the next the quote unquote Xbox is supposed to be. I was wondering that. I'm like, so when they talk about your games everywhere, does that include like my OGs, my 360 back compatibility, all that? Is all that there? Right.
And so here's what it really comes down to, right? Is that they are bowing out of hardware. I know that they talked about they're still making hardware, but then the evidence of it that we see is that they've made a deal with Asus. Nintendo's not using Lenovo to make a Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Sony's not using Gigabyte or someone another kind of manufacturer, Logitech, to make the PlayStation. But you're using Asus. As far as I'm concerned, And those are people that aren't going to like this, but that's a third party device. The way I look at, like, I have I'm looking right now. I have a lot of controllers on my desk. I have a controller stand, and I have an Xbox Elite controller out here somewhere, and there's a regular Xbox controller, one of them custom ones I got made in the SloMoBackSlap colors and my name on it. But like, here is a Gillakit King Kong 3. That's a third party controller. Here also is a Razer Wolverine 4, which has the Xbox logo on it, but I don't consider that an Xbox controller. Why? Because I play it on other devices that aren't Xboxes, and Xbox didn't make it. Razer did. And it's probably one of the very few things that Razer has made that's actually good. Yes, more Razer slander for those who've been paying attention.
Right.
I have a 8-bit Duo Ultimate 2 here. I've got a GameSir Cyclone 2 and another GameSir G7 Pro coming in that I pre-ordered. Yes, I buy controllers like crazy, but the point that I'm making here is that these are all third-party controllers, whether they work on Xbox or not. And it would not surprise me at all. In fact, if they do decide to continue on with hardware, which I'm not fully certain that they will, if they do decide to do that, it's going to be an Asus device. It's not going to be an actual console. In regards to consoles, I've seen people say things like, well, we don't expect, like, the PS5 can't play PS3 games. Is that not a PlayStation? And my response to that is always, PlayStation never marketed their devices as all your games always go with you. They've never done that. And so when they consider it to be a PlayStation, is what they've provided. They also don't think the PS Portal is a PlayStation, all on its own, simply because you can stream games from it. Like, there's a difference in what Xbox has marketed their device, their Xbox consoles to be. And backwards compatibility has been a staple of that for the past decade. Just because they would like to have a narrative where they try to ignore that they want to be out of the hardware market, and they want to move towards their Xbox PC app, be an app essentially, and care more about their subscription and game and play anywhere than anything else, doesn't mean that I have to care about that. And I think a lot of people need to stop listening to what this company says on and stop treating it as the gospel. A lot of the stuff they say, they end up changing their mind and contradicting 6 months later.
Yeah, some of us have been on that wave since 2013, but have blocked the blocks on Twitter to prove it, or had the blocks on Twitter to prove it. But yeah.
I think what it just comes down to is that, to kind of get back to the whole World War II thing, is that these are hurdles they need to get over in order to make sure that they are providing the kind of experience that they keep telling their Xbox community that they're going to get. They don't want to pass up a guaranteed 30 million gamers who continue to buy their hardware no matter how irrelevant it becomes.
Right.
And so they want to transition you into the PC environment, and hopefully you actually are still using their store and buying games off of their store, which right now does not actually have a lot of games. The Xbox PC app has done so bad traditionally that a lot of the third-party games that you may have already bought over the past 2 or 3 years, brand new games, are not in that store, which is why the main reason why they made sure that Steam and your Epic Games Store games and all the other games from all the other PC storefronts are available to be able to play through that launcher, because that's where people buy those games. That's where, when it comes to all of the issues that we see with games that are in Steam, but also in the Xbox PC app. The difference is the Steam version is a more current version. It doesn't have missing features. It doesn't have tons of bugs. Even with their own first-party games, these games play better on Steam, more reliable on Steam than they are on the Xbox PC app. You know, what they want to avoid is that they've seen the migration of console gamers go to PC. And they've seen those gamers get into PC, try to stay on Xbox, but eventually become Steam players who buy, even if they still do have Game Pass or not, they buy their games on Steam. And so what they want to avoid is that. They don't want to avoid getting 30 million people going over with an Xbox Ally and whatever this new Xbox under the TV device that's still a mini PC. They want to avoid all those players basically just becoming Steam players 2 years after they buy the device. And so, well, I really
it's that cake and eat it too mentality.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And you're right. I think there's like a subset of
I'll be right back while y'all talking.
Okay.
All right. Xbox console guys who made a full jump to PC, who kind of just said, you know what? There's a handful of games I have in my library now that are backwards compatible, you know, from like 360 or whatever, that are available on PC. You know, some of my gems, whatever. And I think someone made a calculated decision. It was like, you know what? At this point, you know, I will go ahead and give up and lose out on those and just go ahead and make this jump because I'm getting the better deals over here on Steam. It's already here. It all works. It's all tied in. Boom. And I'll just keep rocking. You know, so in some cases, and I know for the people who just said, you know, they just let go of their old library. And there may come a world where, you know, Xbox gamers have to make the decision like, I'm just going to keep this Series S around, this Series X around, to if I want to access those old 360 OG games. And Microsoft's kind of pushed me unwillingly, or I would say unwillingly, because in some cases, dudes are more than willing to kind of keep kicking the can down the road for them and push you into an arena that you didn't necessarily plan to be in.
Right.
You know, and that could happen. That could honestly, something that we've said on DPS for years, we said on Brad all the time too, is don't trust any of these companies not to do what's going to be better for them, and you just have to make the decision: are you willing to do it?
Mm-hmm.
None of them are exempt from changing the whole game plan on you. You know, so you should never feel too comfortable about anything. I mean, I think the safest bet is definitely in the realms of like, say, like a Steam. I mean, that'll be consistent as long as you're updating your own hardware and doing your thing. You should be good in that regard. But
yeah. You know,
but from the console world, that's rapidly changing.
Yeah, I remember something that Satya said earlier this year. And it was something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember it word for word, but that they're attempting to change the perception of what makes an Xbox gamer. And he's 1,000% that's 1,000% true. That's exactly what they're attempting to do, to change what is an Xbox gamer. But
and that started with this is an Xbox campaign.
Right.
You know, but it's
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, good campaign. I mean, as far as like trying to switch the narrative, but at the same time, I'm like you were just stating, my LG OLED is an LG OLED. Because I can access some Xbox games in it, doesn't make it an Xbox. Mm-hmm. Right? So, you know, you can continuously push this narrative. You can say to me, you know, you can take my hand, put it between bread and say, eat this sandwich. I'm like, that's my hand. No, it's a sandwich. Eat it. You know, it's like, I know what my hand, I know that's my hand between bread. You can't, you know, but there are those who are more than willing to, again, like I said, kick the can down the road for them, or pick up the bags for them and carry the message, you know, because they feel this loyalty to the platform, and it doesn't matter what it becomes, you know, to them it's this thing, and that's fine. That's where the route that you want to go. But some people will have to have a come to Jesus moment, like, is this really? I'm back. What am I willing to give up, or what am I going to have to give up? Because eventually you're going to be forced to give something up.
Yeah, and I think you know, when I saw that comment from Satya, my immediate thought was, sure, you can redefine what it is to be an Xbox gamer, and Xbox gamers are more than likely going to choose to say, well, I guess I'm no longer, not all of them, but when you're taking things to a direction that they don't want to go, that's when they start saying, well, I guess I'm no longer an Xbox gamer.
Yep.
And I think that, I mean, largely, I think leadership there is fine with that. I don't think they're fine with, you know, their own game getting hacked and hacking people's PCs.
No.
But and I have the 100% confidence they're going to do what they can to try to mitigate the issue. But a lot of it's out of their hands. You know, a lot of this isn't a technical problem with getting your game library over to some of it's technical because it's a technical issue. What happened with World War II, but you know, to even have that game, some of these games available, is an issue where you need buy-in from third-party publishers and developers to allow that to happen, to allow a dual license acquisition, simply because they bought the game on a prior platform that's not PC. Most publishers are like, if they want to play this game on this new device, there's a very simple solution to this. You buy the game again. And
right.
and that's, you know, that's not what they want to do, because they want to try to make it easier for these console players who are transitioning to a different kind of platform to feel like this is still an Xbox. That the games that I bought are still here. The games that I bought last year on the Xbox Series X, I can play that on this new, whatever this thing they want to call an Xbox is. And if they can't, after you spent so many years, you know, really marketing your devices as being the best place for backwards compatibility, or when people play it like this World War II fiasco, it's not a problem on console. So like when people can play a game and it's one kind of experience that hey, maybe it's less graphic fidelity there and the frame rate's not as high, but hey, their PC's not getting hacked at the same time. So you know, that sounds like a W to if I'm playing it on console. That sounds like a win for the console player. But like when you are basically moving them to PC, you need to be able to make sure that your messaging is clear on what this device really is. And internally, they ain't calling it a console.
Right.
They know what this is. They know it's a PC. And I think these gamers, they need to also know it's a PC and what that means in the long run. But Forte, anything you want to say on this?
No, I'm good. It's people already know this for the most part, and if they don't know it, then they know now.
Yep.
Well,
Ninja air fryer. This is an Xbox.
This is a coffee maker that plays Xbox games.
Right.
A
smart fridge.
You can play Sea of Thieves on it, man. Let's get into our main topics of the night. First one,
realized that we were literally doing side quests for the whole time.
Yeah, man, I was just trying to get through it. You want to, harp on all the little minor things. So Eric, sometimes the rapid fires turn into musket fire, where it's just like the Civil War muskets where you shoot one shot, then you gotta take out your gunpowder, you gotta stuff it in there, you gotta get the little pipe out. And
this was more like a trip. This was more like a trebuchet, sir.
Get the wide, bite the thing, dump the powder down.
Right. So our next topic here, our actual one of our main topics here is about something that is starting to come up, and I saw some information on it. Crap, that is the wrong game. Give me a second to fix the Jumbotron. Fallout. There is news now coming out from, and this was according to Jordan Midler of the Video Game Chronicles, that there are multiple Fallout projects in development as we speak, and they survived the cancellations and layoffs. And one of them is and I quote this part, the one you're all waiting for, which I assume is either Fallout New Vegas 2 or a remake of the original Fallout New Vegas. What else here? And now this is not surprising considering the popularity of the Fallout TV series on Amazon. It's a no-brainer that Microsoft and ZeniMax would want to capitalize on this IP's newfound popularity outside of gaming. But how would you guys prefer they go about this? What are we are we talking about? If you got multiple games in development, but there's only one Bethesda Games Studios and only one Obsidian, and there's definitely more than 2 games in development, who else is working on this? Are you outsourcing this to someone like Virtuous, who did the Obsidian remaster, or now are we looking at like Arcane or Machine Games or id Software working on Fallout games instead of the games that they would like to work on and the games that people look forward to playing, from those studios? Forte, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a good question. I think just because they have a bunch of games in development and we don't know what that number is, I think a lot of them is probably just in the more.
It's more than 2. I can say it's more than 2.
I think a lot of them are probably, most of them are probably in the theory phase where they're just trying to figure out what they want it to be, or just the conceptual phase.
I'm still listening, but I just got mute for 1 second. Go ahead.
No, you're good. The conceptual phase. I don't know if they really have anybody else working on any other Fallout games. Like, I mean, outside of the ones that's already, or not Fallout, but just any type of Bethesda game in general when it comes to Fallout. I know a lot of people are very, very excited for New Vegas 2, especially where the TV show was kind of leading you to at the very end of it. The last shot they showed was a shot of, Vegas and stuff, which was awesome. But I know that is something that people are super excited for. Some people want to see the number move forward to Fallout 5. That's another one. But a remake would actually be really, really good too. So for the most part, there's a lot of different places they can go with it. I mean, it could also be as small as Fallout Shelters and some like different version of a mobile version of a game like that. That is something that did very, very well for Bethesda when it first released. And I could see something like that being something that they can probably release alongside the movie, or not the movie, the TV show when it does come back out, just to like have something that probably follows along with the movie or the TV show. So there's a lot of different ways they could go with it. I would be more inclined for a Fallout New Vegas 2 because the first one is freaking incredible, and you might as well let Obsidian be the ones that work on that. But we also know Obsidian has been working on Outer Worlds 2 along with whatever else they've been kind of doing. So it's kind of hard to believe that they're working on anything Fallout, and I don't know how big their studio is at this point. But I don't know if anybody else is really working on one. I just think they have a lot of stuff in the conceptual phase, and it just really comes down to whatever is going to happen with Obsidian once they're finished with their development timeline with Outer Worlds 2 and whatever DLCs they have leading up to that. I can see them definitely picking up the reins and taking something from conceptual phase to the actual pre-production phase and working on something like that. I just don't know if it's going to be anything that is like concrete at this point right now. But and that's why you
gotta have Obsidian doing New Vegas 2.
And that's why I don't think it's going to be. And I was going to say that's why I don't think it's going to be New Vegas 2, which is the next big one that people are looking forward to. But
I do think you need to remake New Vegas.
I
think they need to do both.
I think they need to do both. I do think a remake of New Vegas especially like I said, where they left off with the TV show would be a really good jumping out point. I mean, but if they were doing that, that should already have been in the works, and it probably has been, because we didn't know Oblivion was in the works like it was for like the longest. And even though that wasn't a full blown remake, it was still a good enough remake to the point where it, made it more modern than it was back in 2006 when it came out. So I can see that definitely being an angle that they can like kind of work with right now, just going down that remake model of a game that's already there, that they don't have to really put a lot of work into like developing a story for. It's already there, and we can actually get this out. We just got to refine and retool the environments, remake a couple of not a couple things, but a lot of different things to kind of make that game playable in 2025, 2026, 2027. I can see that being the case, but I don't think you'll see anything Vegas 2 for a while.
Yeah, I don't think these are games that are like going to come out soon. We don't understand Bethesda Game Studios' cadence. They go back and forth between Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and then they had Starfield in the middle of that. Now that kind of slowed that process as well. So next up should actually be, considering Fallout 4 was released more recently. I say recently as in, it was the latest one, but neither of these were actual recent, but like there has been a Fallout release sooner than a Elder Scrolls release. So Elder Scrolls 6 is certainly next. But like, in order to, like, if you waiting on Bethesda Game Studios, the Fallout TV show is going to be finished. It could have like a 5-season run. It's going to be over with and jump the shark by the time you get around to making another Fallout game. So I get getting other studios involved. I think though, like, you really need to I don't want to see the creativity of some of these other studios get wasted by an approach that's essentially doing another ABK. And what I mean by that is, ABK used to make a lot of games, and then Call of Duty started to eat up all the attention. And so then you started having studios like Toys for Bob that, were created to make very different kind of games, and they're just a support studio for Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see that for ZeniMax or Xbox Game Studios. Like, I don't want to see Undead Labs just being a support studio for Obsidian, not Obsidian, but the Coalition making Gears games. I don't want to see Compulsion doing remasters or remakes of Gears 2 and 3. And I also don't want to see Playground making the next Halo game. I want them working on their own kind of content. I want them to show their creativity. I don't want Double Fine being a support studio for anybody. And I say that the same for ZeniMax Media. Machine Games, id Software, Arcane, they all have their own flavor of how they make games, and they have their own fan bases that enjoy what they make. I don't want to see them making Fallout. That's just me. I don't want to see it. Now, Obsidian has already made New Vegas, so they make a New Vegas 2, bet. That's what people have been asking for. They get the opportunity to do that. But I do think, hey, you should modernize the first one, because I've tried to play the first one some years ago, and I just couldn't get around my eyes bleeding. I couldn't. So you need to at least remaster that. Make it look better, give it that pop. Maybe call up Virtuous to do what they did with Obsidian. I mean, sorry, not Obsidian, but Oblivion. Something. But please do not have Arcane Leon making a Fallout game. I think that's just going to do a disservice to them and really kind of get us kind of going down this road of everything that comes out of Microsoft Gaming is just like the big IPs. And it's just supporting the release of these big IPs or spin-off versions of something for them. Like it's we don't need to find out that this has turned into yet another version of Halo, Gears, and Forza. But now it's like Halo, Gears, and Forza, and Call of Duty, and that's it. And that's
Right.
all we're getting. Like I don't want to see that. Eric, what are your thoughts on this?
No, I'm in agreement with you, man. And you know, I'm not the biggest Fallout like player, but knowing the respect that Obsidian has when it comes to, you know, Fallout New Vegas, I would agree with that. I don't think anyone should touch that except for them because they know the DNA of it, obviously. But everything that you just said, you don't want to see these things, but do you have anything within you that says that's not a high possibility with this version of Microsoft?
Right. Yeah.
With everything that they're doing, the way that they're rolling, there's nothing that puts you at ease to say that couldn't be the case or wouldn't be the case. You don't know what they're capable of at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know what happened last week, what we talked about last week. You know, the one thing that, how do you feel about like the acquisition stuff or whatever? The one thing that I always felt constant about was when you're not a good steward of, like, let's say like, you know, you're somebody who makes a pretty decent living, you know, you make pretty good money, but you're not a good steward of your money, right? Like you spend frivolously, you know, you're very careless with it. Why would you be blessed to have more when you're not really a good steward of what you already kind of had? You haven't shown that you can kind of manage and take care of what's already there, right? So that was like sort of like my mentality when it came to how fast they were acquiring and how fast they were doing things, and like a lot of the fanboys were championing this and cheering it on more and more and more, like, you know, because they felt the consumer friendly veneer that Microsoft was kind of putting there and putting forth was like, this is the, you know, the best thing for everything. You know, they'd be the caretakers of all this stuff in the industry and everything. And we kind of see corporations are going to incorporate no matter what they do. So I'm with you where I would not want to see that, but my fear would be they would have no problem doing that.
Oh yeah.
If it helps the bottom line.
Yeah, I think the people who are running things in the gaming side of things, the gaming division, are not people who are well versed in the industry anymore. When you see Phil Spencer, apparently all the word behind the scenes is that he really enjoyed and loved what ZeniMax Online was making with their MMORPG that apparently played a lot like Destiny and other games of that ilk, and then that game gets canceled.
Yeah,
you know, it's I think a lot of this stuff is somewhat out of his hands, and that, you know, people like Amy Hood and Tim Stewart and Satya, the CEO, are those who are really driving a lot of those things. We've seen a lot of talk about AI and what AI that some of the people, and I know some of these people who were laid off, you know, and some of the things that are coming out that, like, if you weren't someone who was using AI tools in your daily work, even though it was freely available to you to do, then you were some of the first people to be let go. Because I guess the way you kind of look at that is, if you're not using all the tools that are available to you within your job, and those tools are AI, in the future, as we continue to lay more people off because advancements in AI has made their jobs redundant, and the AI doesn't need medical insurance or a salary, and so they're saving money by doing that. They're still going to need actual humans to maintain and manage the AI, give directions, find corrections of things that need to get done. AI isn't going to completely eliminate all departments, but there's going to be some departments where it used to be 50 people and now it's 5. And so if you're not going to be someone, they're not going to keep the people who refuse to touch AI at all. So if you didn't touch AI, you likely got laid off if you worked there. And so I kind of feel like there's that. The fact that their investments in AI led to a lot of these people being laid off, even though they were doing a great job and the company's in a great place. And then there's also the tone deafness of Phil Spencer's emails to everyone, where he's bragging about how well they're doing as he's telling them that we're laying you off. It's just like, dude, you're not talking to shareholders and investors. You're talking to the employees that are going to lose their job. They don't give a crap that the company is doing the best ever. That you've never had this many players before.
Yeah.
Who cares? They're trying to
it's like,
figure out.
Be proud.
Yeah, be proud that I'm also unemployed now, but you're doing great.
Yeah, be proud that you were part of this. You were part of making us, where we are right now.
Yeah, and and that
from outside, go outside the door and be proud.
Yeah, right. Be proud. Hold your head up high as you leave the office for the last time.
Yeah,
it's just, and not to kind of like reiterate a lot of the things that I said last week, but I got a real issue with some of the dialogue and the conversations that are happening around this, where people are like, well, yeah, the initiative deserved to be shut down. And it's just like some of these same people were defending the initiative years ago. When those reports came out about how development was a dumpster fire, and how they tried to shift gears and change the narrative on the point of the studio, and tried to say it was like a prototyping team once they added on Crystal Dynamics. That's not what you said when the studio first came out. Right. Now all that stuff is accurate now that Microsoft has let them go. Now you want to be honest about it. Well, let's be honest about it. Why did you even make a studio like this? Why did you even make a studio that's 50 plus industry veterans that ran teams, and they were not interested in doing the grunt work they used to do, and couldn't come together on the idea of what to make and how to make it? Why did you allow this game to be in development for so long? Let me go a little bit further, right? Why is it there are people saying, even though they said that Perfect Dark was the best looking game they saw at the awesome showcase that Xbox had last year, now go ahead and get rid of it? All that I was so excited about turned out to be fake. So let's go down the rabbit hole here. How was any of that good?
You can go all the way back to when the initiative first started, and when Drew Murray was still there, and Phil went to do that studio business. Sitting there, they took that picture of them looking at a screen. Phil was playing something, and they're both smiling. I'm like, what were they playing?
Exactly.
Because that was before,
that was one of the very many vertical slices that ended up getting junked because they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do, which also continued with Crystal Dynamics. But let's sit here for a moment, right? So apparently, what they showed last year was a vertical slice of what they intended the game to turn out to be, but the game currently at the current moment didn't look and play like that at that time. Okay, so people are saying, what is fake? They showed us a fake game. That's why they got canceled. Why are you okay that they showed you a fake game? If that's your narrative, why are you fine with the game being fake? You don't have any smoke for Xbox leadership for allowing that to happen. Curiously, the same people didn't have any smoke for the way they showed Halo Infinite.
You remember that, right? They
threw Chris Lee under the bus. Yeah. The director of Halo Infinite, he gets fired. And they're like, oh, okay, everything's good now. He got fired. Wait a minute. So you telling me that you don't think they looked at the game before they showed it to you at the showcase? What's worse? Are they incompetent or negligent? Because there's only two options here. You're incompetent because you don't know what quality is, and you looked at it and said, looks fine to me, and then the gamers told you otherwise. Or you're negligent, you took Chris Lee for his word, you thought everything was great, but you didn't actually check, and you didn't actually do good managing of the product, and then you showed it, and it looked like trash, and now you're trying to catch up after the fact. I think it's the negligence part. Why? Because we have more examples of that. Redfall, you didn't even know wasn't going to be 60 frames per second. You put 60 FPS on the box for the game, for the physical version of the game. It has 60 FPS on the box. So that tells us that you thought it was going to be a 60 FPS game. Why? Because all your games up until that point has 60 FPS. Then you find out it's not. Why did you not know that ahead of time? Because negligence. You're not paying attention. How come you didn't know Undead Labs was going through a civil war into the development of State of Decay 3? And very similar conversations were said by devs who had left there, but it's the same things being said by the initiative devs who left there. Where is Microsoft? Where is the parent in the room to come in and fix these things? Negligence.
Remember like the Glassdoor reviews and stuff that people kept pushing back on? Like, well, that's not really, that could be somebody making that up. Like,
right.
A lot of people making that up.
Everwild. Why a game that we did not know, that even they didn't know what it was? Why would you show that? Why would you show us a game that you don't even know what it is? What if, because you didn't know what it was, and you finally come up with a actual game design and a genre for the game that people, various different people who saw Everwild and were interested are like, that's not what I thought that was. I feel hoodwinked. Why would you even show something? I've never seen a game get shown, and the people that making the game don't know what it is. Why are you harping on, oh, Rare couldn't get this done, they deserve to have layoffs, that game deserved to get canceled, the initiative deserved to get shut down, that game deserved to get canceled, half of Turn 10 deserved to go because only one out of all their games didn't live up to expectations. Make them a support studio. All this stuff is fine, but you seem to not have a problem with leadership that allowed it all to happen. Who didn't lose their jobs? Leadership. Never has in any.
I still can't figure out how Matt Booty stood up. I can't figure that out.
Yeah. Bro, never in any rebuild, in say sports, for example. I'm a Commanders fan, Redskins fan, whatever you want to call it. We wouldn't be the season we had last year, which was magical, and the best season the team has had in 30 years, would not have happened if they did not replace leadership.
Right.
New owner, new general manager, new coach. You change the leadership, you change the culture. Things that that previous leadership thought was impossible to do somehow becomes possible with people who actually know how to get that done. Maybe new leadership, and very well, I've seen people push back with me that, hey, SloMo, who's going to hire this new leadership to take over for the old people? More than likely, they're just going to do what Satya want them to do. Satya is going to get what he wants anyway. He's the CEO. But he still wants them to make games. And I don't trust the people who are in place to make the games. Right. And I get pushed back on this part. Oh, but this studio's doing great. Obsidian's doing great. All the veteran studios would be fine because they don't need any very much manage. It's like your kids. You got some kids that's like, you need a little bit of guidance. You don't need to really, hold their hand on everything. You don't need to be on top of them and everything. And then you got some kids, they need constant attention because they're different. You can't raise them both the same. You can't manage all your teams the same. Forte manages GameStop stores. I'm fairly certain Forte got employees that make him pull his hair out, and he got employees that he could just delegate tasks to and walk away. Because it's going to get done.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't treat everybody the same. So you should be treating your brand new studio that you mismanaged the creation the same way that you treat Obsidian, who has a built-in culture. They've been doing this for a long time. Double Fine, the Coalition, Playground, they got their stuff. They good. It is the other studios that somehow some of them still haven't released a game yet, and you acquired them in 2018 that you should have been paying attention to.
No, we're hands off.
So skipping to the flowers, laissez-faire, hippie, oh, I'm just happy-go-lucky, we love everybody crap. Be a manager. Forget all that.
All the brunch pictures.
Yeah, we just sipping wine, you know, on the patio in LA. Just look at all of us studio heads together.
We don't know what your game looks like, but we have brunch.
Ain't shipped a damn game yet, but you can eat.
Right.
Get like it's. I said I wasn't gonna go there, and I did it anyway. That's my feeling on it.
It can be aggravating, man, because it's like you know, it can be aggravating because then again, you got people, and again, this isn't exclusive to the Xbox fan, as it goes across the board, who will always kick the can down the road or pick up the bags for, you know, these companies and these leaders at these companies or whatever. And I'm like, and I don't understand why. Like, the deliverables just aren't hitting. So it goes back to what you were initially saying. Based on everything that you just said and you just laid out, you can't sit comfortably and assure and say that they'll do right by these studios and let them produce their next game, or just go ahead and make them support studios, because they don't understand the culture themselves. You know?
Agreed.
So churn them out.
I just hope that, you know, not all the promises that they made toward the gamer as well as the studios they acquired is I just hope all those promises aren't broken.
Right.
You know, and then so Forte, anything else you want to say about this before we move on to the last topic, sir? That's an amazing, fascinating point there, Forte.
What do you mean?
Because I just asked you a question, you didn't say anything, so I just pretended like you said something. That was, you know.
I didn't hear you ask me the question. What did you ask me?
Is there anything else you want to say before we move on?
No. I thought no. This topic's dead. Just like.
Hey, don't say it. Don't say it.
I
already all know what you was about to say, so we just gonna move.
Just gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it though.
Ghost of Yotei has State of Play today. Wait, stop it. Ghost of Yotei State of Play. It was about 18, 20 minutes long. Ghost of Yotei comes out October 2nd. They did show off a custom console that looked kind of mid, it's in my opinion, but also a custom controller that looked pretty fire. I might pick that up. And also kind of went into detail on advancements in combat and exploration. They now have a wolf that's a companion for the main character. And
you got a Torgal.
Say what? Yeah, she got a Torgal, yeah. And I have to say, I like what I saw with exploration, the improvements to the UI and how things work, and the combat looks fire. Story though seemed very familiar. And I know there's nothing they can like you know do about this. You know, this game was in development at the same time as their game. But man, is this story just like Noway's story in that Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean, it's the same plot, bro.
Really?
It's the same exact plot. Noway and AC Shadows wants revenge on a group of a cabal, if you want to call it, of people that she has to hunt down due to them killing, you know, her family and people and stuff in the beginning of the game. This character in Yotei is doing this same exact thing. it's same. So I'm pretty sure more than likely the story would be better told than it was in AC Shadows, which I haven't finished, but and it's good. It's a good game, but the story ain't exactly like the most groundbreaking thing ever. I'm not wowed by anything, but I think Sucker Punch is probably better at this kind of stuff and cinematography than AC Shadows is.
It probably won't feel as bloated.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely won't feel as bloated. Although I think visually, you ain't gonna be able to top AC Shadows visually. At least not like I played it on PC, so I'm pretty sure there's some people that were like, "Oh, I disagree, SloMo. My PS5 Pro. I don't care about your PS5 Pro. Bro. I played it on a 4080 Super. You can keep that crap, okay?" So it ain't gonna top it visually, but I do expect it to be a better game overall. Eric, what are your thoughts on it?
Full disclosure, I did not watch the state of play. I kind of really wanted to go in fresh when the game released, so I wasn't sure how. When they said deep dive, I'm like, I don't really want to get into like too many of the story beats. I don't know how deep they went into that, how much they shared from that, and I didn't want to see too much. So yeah, I didn't watch it. So I'm kind of like checking notes from guys like you and what some people were saying like on Blue Sky, but yeah.
Right. Give me 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. I'm in on the game anyway because Ghost of Tsushima was my joint. This looks, if it's it looks like it's gonna be in the same realm, the same vein. So I'm there. Like I'm ready for it. So I didn't think I needed to necessarily see the deep dive itself. You guys there?
I think SloMo died.
Uh-oh.
SloMo dead.
What'd you think, Forte? Did you watch it?
I did watch it. I think it was really cool to the point where I need to go and repo my PlayStation back because I let my friend borrow it to play God of War.
You are a good friend. You are a good friend because I don't know if I let anybody take my PlayStation.
Well, he's not a huge PlayStation guy, but he just wanted to, he wanted to play God of War. So he was going to go out and buy one. And I was like, bro, okay. I said, if you only want to play God of War, bro, I have both. You could just borrow because my play was just sitting there. I wasn't playing it at the moment because the last time I booted it up was, what was it? This holiday? No, I booted it up since then. It was like March is when I booted it up. And I was like, yo, you could just borrow it, bro. So I think he beat the first one. He's like halfway through the second one now. He's loving it. So he might. Okay. So when I told him, I said, bro, I'm gonna need my PlayStation back soon. He's like, how soon? I said, Ghost of Yotei is coming out soon. So I need it. I said, you got about a month or so. So I need it back. He's like, I'll be done by then. So he might mess around and just buy one. But yeah, I like the atmosphere, the environment. I mean, that was everything that Ghost of Tsushima had, and this is just amping it up more, looking really, really good. The one thing I will say is SloMo was here, he can speak to this. I do think that AC Shadows kind of took a little bit of the shine away from this due to the setting and everything. Because of the way that game was and the setting of it and everything, and playing as the two protagonists, so you had two different fighting styles in that game. I do think that overall, Yotei is going to probably end up being a better game in general because it's more hyper focused on what it's doing. But I do think just the aesthetic of the game is kind of not going to wow anybody like the first Ghost of Tsushima did, due to the fact that we already had another game kind of in the same genre that kind of did the same thing, open world, with multiple playable characters like AC Shadows did. But I definitely enjoyed it. It was actually a breath of fresh air to finally see something from first party PlayStation.
I know, right?
It's been so long. I was like, man, this is actually what it used to be like. So, yeah, I'm super excited. But what were you about to say?
That live service initiative really put some dampers on things.
Man, dog, it literally did, bro. It just seems, and the unfortunate thing is, it just seems like it just set them back like a generation, literally a generation, and that's not even being funny. It's like they came into
real talk.
Yeah, they came into this generation wanting to have a live service initiative, a huge push into it. And I know a lot of us all talked about it back in 2020 when Jim Ryan was up there talking and Herman Holtz was up there talking. They were talking about, you know, the future and wanting to invest in live service. And, you know, nobody thought it was a problem with it. But when they came out the gate saying we got 12 live service games that were, you know, in development, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute. And then the next question was, who's making these games? Because it's like all you have are first party studios that do nothing but work on single player games. So who's working on it? And then come to find out that it was your first party for the most part that was working on at least the majority. And then the conversation turned up. So what's up with the single player aspect? And it was just crazy how that change in philosophy just overnight. And the one thing I will say, Sony has made a living off of coming off the back end, you know, pause of other people, what other people did and succeeded in and didn't succeed in, you know. They lived off the back of Microsoft going first and saying stupid stuff, and then them coming back saying, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So now, you know, and this kind of bit them in the butt. They saw all of the, you know, I think, and I don't care what anybody says, the push for Call of Duty with Activision Blizzard, I think worried them to the point where they felt like they had to do something to secure an extra line of revenue just in case it didn't go the way they wanted it to go to when it came to like Call of Duty leaving their platform. I think that was an actual real fear at SIE that Xbox could potentially pull Call of Duty. And we already know
that fear was born from what they would do if they had their own Call of Duty.
Exactly.
They wouldn't put it on Xbox. So
they would put.
People always seem to believe that other people would do what they would do in the same situations. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm just getting back. What were you?
It made them move out of character for how they typically would have preferred to like foster like their studio relationships and nurture and grow. And I know that was a point of contention and discussion on Twitter, like ad nauseum or whatever, and people, but they did have a kind of way about going about things. I think in hindsight, I think a redo, you know, I think they would have slow walked that Bungie thing, because I definitely think that was a panic move.
Yeah, I think never bought Bungie, period, man.
Oh my God.
I think what they did, Jade Raymond, the insurance saleswoman, definitely benefited from
insurance saleswoman.
Used car saleswoman, man.
Oh man. No, but we
selling fool's gold out here, man.
Well, we ended up going down.
Finesses are us.
Selling lemon cars, man.
Yeah, we ended up no. So what I was telling him earlier is because, you know, I was telling him about what I thought about it because you had left, and I told him, I was like, I wish you were still here at that moment, because I felt like what you said earlier, where I think this is going to be a great game, but I do think, you know, Ghost of Tsushima stood out because of what it was and where it took place, and then AC Shadows revisited that area. And it actually had two protagonists, two different play styles that you can like kind of dive into, which kind of deepened that kind of play style that you experienced in this genre. And then this game, I think, would do even better, but I don't think it's going to have the same impact due to the fact that there's been this will be the third game that's kind of bridging in this genre, this type of in this area, feudal Japan, everything like that. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it looks good, it looks great, but I think a lot of people are going to look at it as like, okay, we know it's going to be good, but I'm kind of like not over it, but it's not going to be like that wow moment that they had before.
So you think it'll have less impact than Tsushima did?
Oh, I think, yeah, absolutely going to have less impact because I think it's not because it's not going to be good. I just think if AC Shadows wasn't a thing and we just got that last year, I think this game would be like this. Oh, it was. Oh, yeah, it's right. They delayed it and it came out in March. You're right. Good God, I forgot about it.
We're
It
not
seems
about to
like
go full circle, are we?
Dog, man, look, dog. We
If
are.
you remember, no, because remember, people were saying like, "Oh, you remember for years, people kept saying to Ubisoft, yo, why can't we go to feudal Japan?" You know, and I was like, "Well, they're not gonna go to feudal Japan because they're gonna keep using these assets or these ships that they built."
Mm-hmm.
and you can go from you can move across Europe and make buildings look the same, and do that. But, to go to feudal Japan, you got to change all those assets, right?
Yeah, you got to change the architecture of all the buildings and
right.
And look, we saw how Shadows, they tried to be a little loosey-goosey with that, and the Japanese community called them out like, that's not how our buildings looked.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's not accurate. And they had to, delay the game to make sure that stuff was right. That's something that Sucker Punch has actually been very, very good at with Tsushima. They to the point where the island of Tsushima commended them for how well they did the first game. I do think this one will be better. I think will be better than everything but story. In my opinion, of course, this is just based off the deep dive. I haven't played the game yet, so what the heck do I know? But they talked about some other things. They talked about was how they had the Kiroshima mode in Tsushima where it's all black and white and kind of has that kind of look to it that reminded you of like those old school movies from back in the day. They're bringing that back in addition to having another mode. I forgot the name of the Japanese director, but it's essentially a very cinematic look. That's a very close up behind, maybe like slightly to the right, but behind the main protagonist kind of look that they're going to have there. And they got like this dope lo-fi mode where like when typically when the music plays, instead of that normal music, you're gonna get some lo-fi. So the little lo-fi hits in there. I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely about to play this with the lo-fi on. It's just me, right? But they're adding in, because she has so many different weapons to use that you can change weapons on the fly. The dog companion can fight with you. Like I just think in every aspect of what people enjoyed about the previous game, that they seem to have improved that with this one. So as long as, and I always kind of say this, that like if the game is quality, it's going to get the due that it deserves. And so it's coming out in October. We don't know when Call of Duty's dropping, but that's typically a very rough month to drop a game. I think this game would do well, and even though it's probably not going to sell as much as say AC Shadows did, I think it'll be considered a better game than AC Shadows is, even though AC Shadows is a pretty good game and not as bad as the grifters tried to say it was.
Mm-hmm.
You probably really like, are the grifters on Blue Sky, Eric? I don't know. Like I might need to have more conversations.
I'm sure they're
some
out
of
there.
the dumb arguments from people who just mad that there's women protagonists or a black protagonist in the game. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they're out there. I don't really see much of that, but you can't get away from that stuff completely. So
yeah. Thank you, chat. The Takashi Miike. I'm butchering that, but look, that's the guy's name for that mode, as well as the the lo-fi mode. I'm not even going to try to say the name. I know I'm gonna butcher it, but yeah. But I'm glad they added them in there. I'm going to use them for certain. I think I'm glad they did it the right. I think it's a little too soon for it. I mean, it's July, and you did a deep dive direct.
Yeah,
for a game that doesn't come out until October. It just seems a little odd to do that. You know, I feel like there's something that you want to do like a month before seems appropriate, more appropriate. So like sometime in September would make more sense to me for a game that comes out October 2nd. But whatever, you know, I don't know. You guys were talking about the whole live service thing. How did you transition? You know, because I stepped into the middle of it.
Oh, well, because we were talking. Oh no, it just happened because we was like how refreshing it is for Sony to actually come out and talk about a first party game in a deep dive like this. And we was like, it's been so long. And then he was like, it has been. And then we started talking. And then it just devolved into like why that is the case, because you know, they got truly screwed over due to the decisions of wanting to move everything over to live services. And all their studios, it started off with 12 games, and all of a sudden, like, who's going to make these games? And it's our first party studios that's going to be making the majority of them. And well, all your first party studios are single player studios. So what's happening there? And so it was just more of just the conversation about how we got to the point where in 2025, middle of the year, the first time that we got a really good look at a first party game of like Ghost of Yotei is because they just don't have anything ready to show. Like the last big game we saw was Game Awards last year with Intergalactic, and that was what, 8 months ago?
Yeah.
And so it's just crazy to see that that's how. Now, of course, they had state of play since then, but this is like the first deep dive that they did into a first party game since then. And it just kind of lets you know the kind of state that they're in, especially when they came out and talked about that they were going to be, on a pretty much, when he came out last year, talking about we're not going to have any real first party, output this year. And then they had the one game last year, and then now we're halfway through this year to get to this one.
Sorrow. The Housemark game, which I'm definitely interested in. That one was shown earlier this year as well.
Was that this year? Or was that that was the one that was shown in January or February, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
I'll say it like this. Like I see a lot of people looking at the failures that Sony has had with live service and saying, why are you even here? Just make single player games, bro. It's what you get at. And I think there's a yes and no for that. Right, because I think the studios that they have that are really good at making single player narrative driven action adventure kind of experiences. I think those studios should continue to keep doing what they do good at. And if you're going to pivot to something else, that you don't half step it, you don't be lukewarm with it, you're not half on the half off, you really go all in on it. Now, I'm not saying that like that's justification for Naughty Dog canceling Factions 2 and that Bungie was right. Bungie's rarely right, so no. But
wow.
What I mean is Naughty Dog, Sony,
you said what you said.
Create a whole separate team under Naughty Dog that would maintain that game. Freaking Riot Games maintains Valorant, which has close to 1 million players concurrently, and they have 100 devs. They started that game with 100 devs, and they still roughly have 100 developers that maintain that game. Tell me you can't get 100 devs on that and continue to run separately from Naughty Dog while Naughty Dog continues to make the kind of games that people expect from them. I just think that like they needed better guidance, and Bungie was not able to provide that. And if they were smarter when it came to who they would take their advice from, they would have never acquired Bungie in the first place. Bungie is kind of like an idiot savant when it comes to live service. They were very successful with Destiny, but it's not because of the things they were doing. Like the Destiny community and Forte, back me up on this, allowed a lot of things that Bungie did, or in some things that like even no one else would dare do, and they never left. Sunsetting weapons, sunsetting content that you bought, just all kinds of stuff that we would constantly see the Destiny community upset about. But when other developers do those things, the Division devs, Warframe devs, the community leaves. When you fail to deliver on expectations, the typical reaction result of that is that you lose your players. But it took a while before Bungie had that happen. I don't think they were the good stewards to help Sony move on into making live service content. And if it, more than anything, Helldivers 2 being the most successful one, yet the least marketed one out of all of them, I think is a great example of that.
Yeah, they put more behind Foam Stars than they did behind them.
Foam Stars.
Right. And then Helldivers 2 is the one that's the major success. So, I mean, like, in conclusion, they have to keep doing this because 50% of the revenue that's generated on their platform comes from 10 games, and they're all live service games. And they also are none of the games that Sony makes. So they're only getting 30% cut of those games. They want 100%. And they're not going to get 100% off of the games that are out there, but they can at least make something that can be a part of that company. And that would do a lot for them as far as growing, because shareholders are like, great, we're doing good, but how are you growing? That's what they care about. And I think that is why they will continue to push in the direction of live service games, because that's going to be the best way for them to grow. When it's a huge margin between those top 10 games and everything else, for them it's somewhat of a no-brainer that you need to make something live service that could be successful. The Helldivers 2 is successful, but a lot of its success comes on PC and not on the PlayStation platform. And as we know, they care about the PlayStation platform more than anything. You can see this Helldivers 2 go to Xbox. I could even agree with you if you want to say that we'll start seeing some of their single player games show up on the Xbox. But guess what you won't see? You won't see none of these games, Xbox, PC, or otherwise, showing up day and date. Those single player games, those Ghost of Yotei, Intergalactic, it's always going to be timed, because they want to push that PlayStation platform. But on that PlayStation platform, they need to get some live service games popping. And it wouldn't surprise me, like, if Marathon's almost a guaranteed failure, it wouldn't surprise me after Marathon fails that they just slowly kind of start to dismantle Bungie and keep what they can and get rid of the rest.
Talk about a support studio.
Right. There's your support studio right there. Like I could see them creating a new studio out of Bungie's corpse that just does Destiny. That's just like decides to do a Destiny 3 or continue Destiny 2 indefinitely or whatever. But just like, you don't need to keep the whole studio and the studio's name and whatever contract, you know, that you created in the acquisition, all that stuff. Like, you could just kind of just move on to something else. They already took a game that seemed promising, that Gummy Bears live service game, just split that all off completely and created a studio out of that team. That's very telling to me that they didn't just want that under Bungie. It was being developed under Bungie. Now it's just a whole nother studio. Why are you separating them away? Is it because you plan on shutting Bungie down, but you don't want to shut this game down? Just something to think about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But we could go ahead and get up out of here. It's midnight. I don't want to keep Mr. Jackson any longer. We appreciate him coming through. Sir, where can the good people find you, man?
If you can find me on Blue Sky. I don't know.
If you can.
You don't have to come over. You know.
It's funny.
But no, like I said, my social media presence is anywhere near what it used to be. Like I said, that's like at my own choice, like mental health wise and the whole nine. Just being more in the moment, more focused in life. And but like I said, there's definitely people from the Twitter world that I definitely miss talking to on a daily. But it be what it be. It is what it is. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much where you would find me if you were looking for me. But I'll definitely try to come through more often, man. Definitely good to chat it up with you guys.
Yeah, the door's always open for you, sir. Anytime you want to come through, you just let me know. We will let you on there, and you get everything off your chest and then some. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Glad to have you here, sir. Forte, when are you doing the Death Stranding live stream?
I just installed the game.
Okay, so what, tomorrow?
Under duress.
No, I work all.
Saturday?
I work all day tomorrow, and when do I work on Saturday? It's probably gonna be on Sunday when I get home from work.
Oh, okay. So Sunday afternoon-ish.
Yeah, after I get off work, that's what it'll probably be. Most likely.
Okay. Just just want to make sure where I should pay attention, to go watch this amazing stream that's going to happen.
Oh boy, it's gonna probably be a lot of belly aching.
Forte Porter Bridges on deck.
Shout out to Gaming Addict in the house. He says stream in all caps so that you see it stream after the podcast. We will redirect you. So he's telling you to stream it after the Iron Lords do their 6-hour marathon podcast.
Oh, this would be great. That'd be great. Great. Be like, come on over, Lords.
Yeah. Addict, I'm on about hour 3, man. I've been listening as I'm working. I'm like, man, 6 hours. Well, you guys. Marathon podcasters, boy.
Shout out. Have the stamina, man. You gotta have the stamina for it. Shout out to the Iron Lords. What am I about to say? I'll be uploading Lunchtime with Slow Mo tomorrow, and the Road to Borderlands stream probably tomorrow or Saturday. And maybe I'll go live with Death Stranding 2 as well. We'll see how it plays out. But appreciate everybody for coming through. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And look out for Forte's Death Stranding stream, because we don't do fraudery over here. Right, Forte? Right, Slow Mo. Yeah, man.
He's going already. He's going to get ready. He's going to prep.
Right. Peace out, guys.